I was about to say good morning. Not good morning, good afternoon. This is the Oskar Quentin Debate Live, which is usually in the morning, but is in the afternoon today because I have last few days to work at my day job, which I quit to run this show, so that's very exciting. This is a debate show where I talk to people on TikTok Live about politics. I don't like Trump. A lot of people on TikTok Live do, and we talk about that and related topics. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, you can find a pinned comment at the top of the comments section that will tell you a timestamp for when the first call starts, and you can find timestamps for all the oppositional calls and some corrections in the descriptions. And man, I had to issue a doozy of a correction yesterday because I had something that had snuck into my understanding of Trump's... Ross, I'll get you in just a second. We already have a caller. That's fantastic. But I just want to talk about this correction really quick because I had totally mixed up a really important detail about Trump's crimes. This detail I had about him lying about square footage for it wasn't involved with his 34 felonies. I don't know how I mixed that up. I think I mixed it up a long time ago and it just got like stuck in my understanding. So anyway, there's a correction in yesterday's episode. It was kind of a doozy. It's a whopper. It's one of those frustrating corrections where he did still do all the things I claimed he did. I just mixed up which case involved which details, which I'm super not supposed to do because I'm supposed to understand that stuff really, really well. So if I mix up a detail, do fucking let me know because the Republicans seem to think that if I misremember a detail, it means that Trump is innocent and never did anything wrong. So I have to be perfect. So if you want to help me be perfect, do let me know. Do let me know about the mistakes I make. It makes it easier for the show to stay healthy in that way. Rosso, you can come up now. I just wanted to say that. I like when the show starts with a caller right away, even though the oh, there we go. You're still here. I'll bring you right in. And just remind everybody as we start how old you are, so to keep the TikTok gods happy about the TOS. Hello, are you there? Hello. Hello, everybody. While we're waiting for him to connect, I will say hello to the mods. W's in the chat for the mods. They make my life very, very easy compared to if they weren't working on the show. Who else do we have? We've got David, Amanda. Hello, Raven. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Tarantula. Hello, Beef Boy 69 Fudge. That's a new username. Haven't seen that one before, but I just felt like reading it out loud. David, Judy, Diava's here. Goss Marin is here. Tracy Lynn is here. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see both chats are working. I remembered YouTube defaults the stream as private, so I have to remember every single day to unprivate the stream or else I'm talking to nobody over there. Rosso's not connecting, so I'm going to disconnect him. Let's disconnect him. Maybe he'll come back later. What is there to talk about in the news? I think I talked about it yesterday, or did it come out after? It's all a blur for me. Trump stormed out of an interview in a way that I find very fascinating because we had a interviewer finally grill him on some things. Well, we already have a caller. Right when I get to yapping, we get a caller. That's exciting. We'll get to the caller. I'll talk about that stuff later. Okay. We're going to talk to Mike Lell, who I believe has called in before. How old are you?
Hello, I am 18.
18. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yep.
Have we spoken before? I feel like I recognize your voice in the username.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
Because he is more in line with my views of neolibertarian phalangism.
Okay, so I know that that's like a made-up, like, contradictory title, so you're a troll.
But it's not.
It is.
Because it's not made up.
Yes, it is. Anything else before I kick you and, like...
It actually means something, and you shouldn't dog on it, because it's true, and it's... correct, it's right.
Wait, hold on. Where is the ban button? There it is. Go back.
The ban button. Ooh.
Yeah, it's been making the rounds, this meme. The first time somebody called in and said they were a neolibertarian phalangist, I was like, all right, I know what a neolibertarian is. And then I Googled phalangism, and I was like kind of skimming the Wikipedia blurb while the person was talking at me. And I'm sitting there thinking like, well, this isn't making any sense. Why would a neolibertarian be interested in any of this? But yeah, it's just a meme that's making the rounds. It's just a means of trolling us debate hosts, come in and waste our times with us trying to make sense of some sort of nonsensical philosophical belief. I was suspicious already because he is lying. I know he's been on the show before. I recognize his voice and I recognize his username. But yeah, neolibertarian phalangism, for everybody listening, is not a real thing. It's just a meme meant to troll us debate hosts. Anyway, I guess I can get back to talking about Trump's interview. I'm so proud of that interviewer because every single member of the media when faced with any member of our government, president or somebody else working, any elected official, we gotta just stop letting the bullshit slide. I think the reason my show is successful and the reason people like watching Oskar Quentin is because I will just ask somebody the same question 27 times in a row if it's what it takes to get them to say the words. I'm not going to answer the questions or whatever they need to say. And I just think it's important that we not let these politicians get away with just like leaving. Somebody's telling me to take a shower, which is hilarious. Like, I think the lighting is different is what's going on. And I haven't shaved today, but I am showered. I'm wearing a workout shirt. I'm going to work out after the show. My goodness. We're going to talk to Serial. I know Serial. How old are you, Serial?
26.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Agnostic.
Agnostic towards Trump?
Sure.
I sense a lack of sincerity in your voice.
I just have a question.
Okay.
So you said you're anti-fascist, which is a good thing, and you say that you don't like ICE, but then the New York and the New Jersey governor and the mayor sided with police. Why do you think that's okay to do?
I don't.
Okay, then you should not support Democrats because a lot of them do support ICE.
There's a lot of problems with like politics generally. Politics is broken in this country. There's a lot of people in the Democratic Party who during normal times I could say are the bad guys, but we have a way bigger problem going on. Like none of that matters if the Republicans...
Oh, it doesn't. What ICE is doing doesn't matter. Interesting.
You cut me off because I said none of that matters if... and then you didn't let me finish. None of that matters if the Republicans take control of the government and take away all the rights that we currently have. So we can be upset.
People were losing rights before Trump was in office. Do we not know that?
Over the course of human history and over the course of history in America, people's situations with rights has gotten better. Do you recognize that we've made progress since slavery was legal?
Not with the prison system, no.
I think that the prison system is probably better today than it was in 1865.
Yes, but when we look at what the prison system does,
the answer to my question is yes. I don't take people like you seriously. I'm sorry. Like I recognize that we need to fix politics in this country. We need to attack the Democratic Party for all the things that they've done wrong.
But you support the police.
No, I don't. Coming on here and telling me that I support the police isn't helping. You're the fucking problem, not me. I don't support the police. I think all cops are bastards. I think if your job as a police officer in America, you're necessarily a bad person because you've participated in a system that any reasonably educated person should know is bad. And if you're a cop, you have to be a reasonably educated person. If you're not a reasonably educated person, it means for a different reason you're a bad cop. So yeah, I think all cops are bastards. I think I agree with a lot of your ideals. I'm just not as much of a douchebag, and I'm not as like lost about what's practical and possible in this country.
Wait, so I don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't think you do. No.
You don't? What do I not know about?
I don't think that you can. I don't think that you have a pragmatic path towards progress in this country. I think you're just upset about everything that's bad, which means you're never going to get anything done. I think you think that you're on the path to actually accomplish things for people who are suffering, and I don't think that you are.
Oh, so you probably hate leftists and like communists, right?
I don't hate leftists. I just disagree with them about a pragmatic path forward. I hate cops. I hate Republicans mostly. I don't hate you guys. I just think you're wrong about what we should do about the problem.
Interesting. Well, I hope you'll learn more.
Oh, and you left? That's it? That was his closing note? I mean, they never want to answer that. Like, what do we do? Okay, great. The Democrats in New Jersey are bad. Unsurprising. I'm a New Yorker. I hate almost everything about New Jersey. What do we do? What do we do about it? Is telling people not to vote in the midterms going to help? Is telling people to be a communist going to help? Is telling people that the Constitution is stupid going to help? I don't think so. We could get there. We could get to a point where I would agree with the leftists. I just don't. I'm holding on to this last little scrap of democracy we have. And yeah, I know the chat's saying that he always runs. That's kind of his deal. Anyway, before we move on to the next caller, I'll take a moment to tell everybody that I am doing this show as my full-time job now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week are the last days I'm working my full-time job, or part-time job that was my day job prior to this. I've given that job up to do the show full-time, so I'll go back to 10 to 12 in the morning, Central Time, to do the show live every day starting Friday, but it's going to be 1 p.m. These 4 days. And then I'm done. So if you want to support the fact that I've given up my job to do the show full time, you can go to the link tree in my bio and support me by following me for free on the other platforms. Doesn't cost a dime. And if you have a dime that you want to spare, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon. Thanks for letting me ramble that out. We're going to talk to Dixon Myaz, M-Y-A-Z. I think this is a new caller. I don't think I've spoken to this person before. How old are you?
Caller. I'm 40. What do you think you are, like Howard Stern or something like that?
Yeah, this is a radio show. Thanks for calling in.
It's not a radio show.
No, you're arguing semantics, dude. Any reasonable person.
We all support ICE. You're not reasonable. You're a clown.
All right, let's show how not reasonable I am. Let's reason about something. I think it's reasonable.
We don't need illegal aliens. More cops, more ICE, more prisons.
Are you done? Come on, pick one. Pick one.
All the above, champ.
Pick one. We can't talk about more than one thing at once. What do you want to talk about? Whether or not this is a call-in show, or do you want to talk about politics? You can choose.
Listen, you're some jerk off that's got 10,000 followers on TikTok that you can easily buy. You're not impressive. You're a clown. And you're a pretend radio show guy. I gotcha. This gives you a sense of purpose, which you never had before.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all. Does that? Did you get your little chub on for the day? Do you feel better now?
Yeah, I sure did, champ.
Good for you. Champ. Thanks, Daddy.
You're welcome, little girl.
You want to talk about politics?
Go for it, champ.
I don't think Trump's a good president.
Fine. I don't really give a shit if you think he's good or not.
Then why'd you call in?
Because I'm trolling you not even trolling you. I'm bringing to your attention what a clown you are.
I don't know, man. You're accusing me of having bought my following. I happen to know that I didn't buy my following. So is that supposed to be effective? Are you going to convince me that I did that? Because I didn't.
I don't need to convince you of anything.
You just said that you. No, I'm going to interrupt and talk over you and say that you called in to convince me of something. You wanted to shed light on the fact that what I'm doing is baseless.
On my phone. I didn't call in. I pushed a little thing on my phone to say join.
Yeah. You need to get better at trolling, dude. Like, what's the point? What are we doing here?
We're all fortunate Kamala Harris didn't win.
Can you pronounce her name correctly?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala?
An unimpressive who slept with Willie Brown to get her first job.
Dude, what is this? Do you think you look good?
You don't know how I look.
Do you think that people appreciate the way that you're behaving right now? Do you think that you are behaving like an adult? Do you think that you're helping your side? Well, you're calling in upset about politics. Do you think people are going to watch this and think, oh, wow, that guy must really be right about Kamala Harris?
Not upset at all.
You sound very upset. You sound deeply emotional and tied up about this.
You have no idea how I sound.
I know exactly how you sound because you called in.
You're thinking that you know my feelings. Are you a mind reader? Is that what you pretend to be, champ?
I don't know. You're calling in and accusing me of having bought my following. Do you think you're able to tell how I got my following? Because you obviously are mistaken about that. Yeah. Why do you think that, dude?
Calm down.
Why do you think it, though? Tell me the answer.
Because I know it to be a fact. That's why.
You're just making shit up? Is that trust me, bro? You're saying trust me, bro, about something you're accusing me of doing?
You bought the followers. That's fine.
You can keep saying that, but what's your evidence of that?
My evidence is that you did it.
That's not evidence.
Sure it is.
This is probably how you come up with a lot of your conclusions. You just say it, declare it to be true, don't have any evidence, and then declare that you're right.
Brilliant. You're brilliant.
I don't know. I mean, let's see.
Champ, let me ask you a question. Did you ever finish high school?
Hold on. No.
Did you ever finish? Tough guy. Did you ever finish high school?
I'm going to say it 3 days early. I just finished being a high school teacher. I quit my job as a high school teacher to run this show.
God forbid. What were you teaching?
As a sub, I taught everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Michael sent me $2 just to say it's wild that grown-ass adults...
My kids are going to private school. You're an example of why public school has gone to shit.
I was a high school teacher at a private school, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I don't know, man. Sure I don't want to dox myself. That's all I'll say. But I literally. Well, until Thursday, I am a teacher at a public high school.
How much will you be making with this grand radio show of yours? How much?
Lot more than I was making teaching.
Well, that doesn't say anything.
Michael just sent me $2 to say it's wild that grown-ass adults troll TikTok lives. Thank you, Michael, for that. I really appreciate that.
So how much will you be making?
Well, it's hard to say. It's rather volatile, but it is compared to teaching, it is a lot.
How much were you making teaching?
I was working hourly and the schedule was inconsistent. I don't need to tell you how much I made. Why do you care?
How much were you making hourly then?
Why do you care, dude? What does it matter? I'm not going to release that information. It could get me doxxed.
Why not?
Because maybe somebody could...
telling me how much you make an hour? I mean, you could lie to me. I wouldn't know the difference.
$157,000 an hour then.
Okay. I think you might be overpaid on that one.
Potentially.
Well, you're not.
It's a good thing I'm making more doing the show.
So how much are you making on the show?
$158,000 an hour.
Well, it's a big increase for you.
Yeah, it's great.
Listen, the bottom line is that we're in much better hands with Trump, who is by far a superior leader than Kamala Harris, who was an unoppressive whore who got her job first with sleeping with Willie Brown. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware that people say that. I've never seen evidence of it, and you just seem to struggle with even understanding what evidence is.
It's well documented that she was dating Willie Brown. He was married at the time. He got her her first quote unquote political job working at the DA's office, and I think it was Alameda County. And throughout her career, she was known as a very, very unimpressive lawyer. So that's not speculation. That's very well known within circles.
It's absolutely speculation. I don't think that you can demonstrate that. I don't think that you can demonstrate. Excuse me. I've got to remove you. What for? Let's see.
All right, clown.
Let's see. Repeated violations. Violation. Guest violation warning. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of knew that was coming, but oh well. We'll keep going. I see Keemokazi in the chat, and he might be banned too for not being productive. You can stay in the queue for now, Keemokazi. It's hard talking to you, dude. You don't take it seriously. If you took it seriously, I'd be more inclined to give you more airtime. But we're going to talk to Toyota Supra fan page. Toyota Supras are pretty cool, I'll admit. How you doing, Toyota Supra fan page? How old are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm 35.
35. I'm just going to take a moment to thank Gen X Leftist for sending me $20 on Venmo. They said, you just made $20 on this hour because of your superior intellect. Thank you. I'm glad that you felt I probably had a superior intellect to the previous caller. Toyota Supra fan page. Do you have something other than Toyota Supra fan page for me to call you?
You could just call me Supra.
I'll call you Supra. Do you support Trump?
No, I don't.
I'm just looking for opposition for now. So if you want to just chat, we can talk at the end of the show after 11. Oh, that's the morning time. It's the afternoon after, what is it, 2:30 Central Time. That's a little more than an hour from now. But for now, I'm just going to move on to the next person. And I have somebody else on Cash App to thank. So I'm going to thank, who is it? I'm going to thank, Cash App is always slow with the notifications. I'm going to thank Infexus, who says, to deal with Dixon's projection. Yeah, what a sad individual he is. I hope he's not married. Anyway, we're going to talk to Bequee. And we're going to see if this is a meaningful call that people will enjoy watching. How old are you?
It's not. W. Oscar, love you.
Love you too. Goodbye. We're going to talk to LT Water 123 WAUDER 123. Lieutenant Water? Is that how that's supposed to be interpreted? Maybe we'll have a debate. We'll see. How old are you?
I'm 24, but I'm currently in a car, so I'll join later.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right, we're going to talk to Jake ZL, and he's the last one before we circle back around to Keemokazi. Not true, somebody else just joined, but Keemokazi, hang tight. Maybe we'll talk. Jake ZL, tell us how old you are.
What's up, dude? I'm 39.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, God, no. I just want to say what up. You're great.
Love you. Have a good one, Jake. Call back later if you want to chat. We're going to talk to super cool name 00. What a cool name. And what is this? 10 calls in, and we're going to see if we get an actual conversation out of it. How old are you? Don't put bananas in my butt. No, don't put bananas in my butt. All right, probably going to have to cut that on the YouTube VOD so I don't get demonetized for 3 seconds of copyrighted music. How fun. And I guess we are going to talk to Keemokazi. We're going to talk to Jersey Joey, and then we're going to talk to Keemokazi. Keemokazi, you'll be next regardless of who else joins. You've been patient. Jersey Joey, how old are you?
39.
Are you a Trump supporter?
I voted for Trump, yes.
Do you still support Trump?
I support a lot of what he does. I'm not 100% happy, but yes, I still support the president of the United States.
The 100% happy thing is always an interesting angle because, I wasn't 100% happy with Biden. You understand that, right? Almost nobody is ever 100% happy with any politician's performance, right?
Well, I think what we're seeing here is definitely different than what we saw under his first term.
I just want to find some common ground. You do recognize that it would be silly for anybody to say they're 100% happy with really anybody. Even my fans, I'm sure, the people who are dedicated to the Oskar Quentin show, I'm sure each of them goes, oh yeah, I disagree with him about this. I don't like his stance on that, Like, it's just kind of a silly way to talk about politicians. So I'm not really interested if you, some people are real worshipers who are going to agree with something just because he did it, even if it's a different thing than he did the day before and contradictory. It sounds like you're not that type of the
reason I say that, you have people that no matter what this guy does, he can do the greatest thing ever, and they're going to find something to nitpick about it. Then you're going to have people that no matter what he does, whether it's the worst thing, praise him for it, right? So I like to kind of find myself still, even as I'm a retro Democrat, still kind of find myself in the middle and try to take the most common sense approach to it as I can.
Okay. That's reasonable. I think he should be removed from office, though.
On what grounds?
Violating the Constitution.
Well, okay, but why? Tell me why.
I think that if the president frequently and regularly, intentionally attempts to subvert democracy and violate the rules in the Constitution, we should remove them from office.
So the problem with that is, I think within the first week they were talking about trying to remove him from office. I don't know if you remember that. I can't think of the gentleman's name. I believe he's an Indian man. But we're trying to write it up to throw Trump out of the office within a week. It was either a week or two of him in office, right?
There are things that he did in his first week of office that are worthy of impeachment.
What do you think he did in the first week?
Oh, I'd have to look. I recently looked at the list of executive orders that he did on his first day, and one of them was a big problem. I'll be honest with you. I'd have to look at it again. But I do remember that from the last time somebody talked to me about his first day. So we could look at it together if you really wanted to go down that rabbit hole. But you're talking about a specific example from the first week of his presidency a year and a half ago. But you recognize there's a mountain of reasons that he should be impeached. There's a mountain of violations of the emoluments clause. He's enriching himself through his power as president. That's clear to you, right?
Well, I think what's going on with the IRS is a complete joke, a complete scam to the American people, especially that you can never audit him or his family.
Yeah, that's one example.
What the fuck is that?
That's one example of the many things I think he should be impeached for.
So, are you a Democrat or are you independent?
I'm a Democrat, I suppose. I'm not super excited about the Democratic Party. I think that I struggle a lot with labels because in American politics, it's easier to label me as a Democratic socialist than to call me a Democrat. But that pisses off the Philbros and the leftists and the Marxists and the libertarians because it's not like all of them would generally call me a social democrat, which is different than a democratic socialist. So I try not to work in labels too much. I just try to talk about what's true and what I want for the country. What I want for the country is the president to follow the Constitution, and that's only going to happen if we impeach Trump, especially in consideration of the fact that the Republicans effectively have a permission slip to violate the Constitution because they've learned that if the Republicans control Congress, they're just going to get away with violating the Constitution as much as they fucking please.
So the problem we have, right, and my problem is this, as someone who couldn't be more of a moderate Democrat, this progressive Democrat, which again falls aligning, like you said, communist, socialist, people call themselves today, has completely ruined this party, is the reason why we have people leaving the Democratic Party. The reason why we have the Democrat approval rating, I think, was 30% last time I checked. And you have a 34 count felon as your president today. This was all after what happened in January 6th, was after 34 count felons, was after the Eugene Carroll. And we keep on going back, well, maybe they're racist, maybe they're sexist. No, it's people don't fucking align themselves with this crazy far left agenda, right? The Democratic Party needs to be for the middle class, the blue collar worker, for healthcare. And for some reason, they have bowed down to this progressive bullshit. Now, it's not a winning way, right? And we've seen that. Like, I don't know whether they think in 2028, when you have someone who doesn't have as much baggage as Donald Trump, that all of a sudden they're going to be like, you know what, we're going to vote Democrat again. It's not going to happen.
We're slipping all over the place. What is the point you're trying to argue to me right now?
The reason Donald Trump is president today is because the Democratic Party has gone way too progressive.
I don't think that's reasonable to say.
Well, I gave you reasons. I'm giving you data why that's happened.
What was data? The data
we
you
have
gave
people
me?
leaving we have people leaving the Democratic Party in droves. Right, this is data I can show you. I can show you the approval rating.
No, but I'm not interested in hearing that people are registering as more things. Like the third parties are growing. A lot of people are identifying farther left than
no,
Democrats.
They're leaving the Democratic Party.
Are you listening?
Yeah, but as you said, they're registering. It's two different things. A brand new register and then leaving the party. So we're two different things.
Okay, then where's your data from?
I can give me 1 second.
I mean, do you understand that if we're going to talk about people like leaving establishment parties, if we're going to talk about the bipartisan system, Democrats and Republicans, that Republicans are at this time losing favor faster?
No, I totally disagree with that.
All right, we'll see what your data says. I'll thank Ashley for the $2 on Cat, or is it Venmo? One of these. Which app do I have open? Ashley, for your $2, what did she say? Sending you a whole 2 just to remind you owe me. Wait, why is it cutting it off? Ashley, I know who you are. I saw your message a moment ago. Venmo, fix your app. None of this ever works. What a good show this is. Sending a whole 2 just to remind you owe me for my follow still. I'll take Cash App. JK. He was just jealous. Love the show. Oh, that's right. She's joking about me having paid for my follows. It's hilarious. I have 110,000 followers. That's my total right now. Like, I was really upset about my 10K on TikTok, but it's not even where I'm super popular. Instagram is where it's at. Anyway, so yeah. What am I? Sure. You want me to pull up your evidence?
So just a few things, and you can pick whatever one. So Gallup News' new high of 45% identifies political independence. The Guardian, why did workers leave?
Hold on. You're talking about people leaving the Democratic Party. And yeah, so I see this article. So the specific claim about this being Democrats instead of Republicans isn't bottled up in you just saying that it's 45%. I mean, I was even unhappy about identifying myself as a Democrat at the beginning of the call because I'm pretty unhappy with the establishment Democratic Party. So again, like, does this show?
What are you unhappy about, though?
Before we move on to that, I'm just saying, does this demonstrate that this is being caused by people leaving the Democratic Party?
Well, this is just a little tiny snippet. If you go back, it's Why Are Americans Leaving the Democratic Party by the Wilmington News Journal.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. I mean, it looks like over the course of time, the Democrats are losing more favor than the Republicans in terms of people identifying based on annual average of telephone interview. Looks like you're right about that. I still think that this sort of graph about like general political affiliation just isn't all that connected with how people vote.
Well, why would you say that?
Because a lot of people identify as independent, but because most places don't allow third-party voting, they don't actually put their main vote towards an independent party because it's throwing their vote away unless you have ranked choice voting. So I agree with like a lot of the independents are going to be on my team. You could argue I'm an independent because my beliefs aren't bottled up very nicely in establishment Democrat positions, but I'm on Team Democrat for the midterms, and a lot of the independents are as well.
Right. So
I'll admit completely, I wasn't aware of this rise of people identifying as independent, but I'm not terribly surprised by it. But what are we talking about? This is like what's the topic?
The attention span might be small right now. So again, the biggest issue I had here was we're seeing it in 3 different ways. We're seeing it in one where people are leaving the Democratic Party. We just saw that. You didn't know that, but we saw that. That's okay. The second is that the approval rating today, let me see exactly what it is. The approval rating for the Democratic Party today, it is a Democrats hold a job approval rating of 20% with a disapproval rate over 70%.
Well, now you're moving on to other things instead of answering my questions. I don't know what it is you're trying to.
Question.
What is it you're trying to argue to me and my audience? Like, what is the? So you showed me some data about people identifying as independent. I wasn't aware it was growing that fast. Not terribly surprised. Doesn't affect any of my political beliefs. Doesn't affect what I think is happening. Doesn't affect what I think Trump is doing. Then what the fuck are we talking about?
So again, my claim was the reason that Donald Trump, 34-count felon, is in office today is because the Democrat Party has bowed down to the progressive instead of and lost that kind of moderate voter, that middle class voter, that blue collar worker.
And you're making a big leap when you look at a graph like the one we just looked at together and decide that it's because of progressivism that Trump is in power. That's absurd.
Well, I don't think it's absurd, right? Because again, we've seen it, right? We've seen it in November of 2024. We've seen this guy win every single swing state in 89% of counties. A very blue state of mine, New Jersey, became a purple state. More people looked at Donald Trump and said, you know what, I resonate more with him than the Democratic candidate. And now what we do today is we cry, we point our finger at the orange man saying he's bad, saying everything he's doing is bad, but guess what? In 2028, things are going to get better. That's not going to work. Now, do I think the Democrats will win the midterms? I do. I think they...
So let me just point out to you, you're saying that the reason that the Democrats aren't losing are losing favor is because they're progressive. You do realize a lot of people are abandoning the Democratic Party because they're not progressive enough.
That's fine, right? Because that's just, again, that's a losing culture, right? Because if the establishment decides to go more progressive,
I'm right on the edge of that team, right? Like if we have the political spectrum, there's like the Republican side and the Democrat side, and then there's somewhere in the middle where people aren't really happy with either, and then there's somebody completely farther left of the Democratic Party that isn't happy with it either. And I'm like right there. I'm like standing on the edge doing this. Oh my God! We're gonna fall! There's a civil war happening! You know, like I'm right there. But if I fall off the edge and I no longer support the Democrats in mainstream elections in America, it's not going to be because of they were becoming progressive. It'll be because they're not progressive enough. So you're not showing a demonstration that this what's showing up in the data is a result of Democrats being progressive in the first place. It's absurd for you to draw that conclusion.
Well, okay, so let's go back. So Donald Trump won every swing state, 89% of counties. We agree with that, right?
Sorry, say it again.
Donald Trump, the 34-count felon, won every swing state in 89% of counties November 2024. Do we agree with that?
That did happen, but I'm not impressed that
Why do you think that happened?
I'm not impressed that he won all of the swing states. I think it's a little bit disingenuous if you're as educated about this stuff as I suspect that you are, because once somebody wins one of the swing states, it has a really high predictive value for whether they're going to win the rest of them. It's not as though the most likely thing was that he would lose all of them, and then the second most likely thing is that he lost all but one of them, and then the second most likely thing after that is that he lost all but two of them. That's not how it works. The second most likely outcome was that he won all of them, which is what happened. Right. It was not statistically anomalous. It makes sense. But again, this was someone who tried to overthrow around elections.
This is again someone who tried overthrowing the government.
You're saying that it's because the progressives are taking over the Democratic Party. Of course. And yes, you said that. I think that part of the reason that it happened is because the right is disproportionately in control of the media and has lied to people in such a way that they're willing to do something as foolish as you just said, elect a rapist, fraudster president. And I think that I don't think that that's the Democrats' fault. I think the Democrats aren't willing to play as dirty as the Republicans, and that makes them the victim in this thing.
What media do you think the right controls?
Almost all of it. If you go to the top, they have some level of control over just about every major outlet right now. Even
you
TikTok
think they
recently
control
changed. ABC? Yeah. What's the?
They do.
Who owns ABC? I don't know that one off the top of my head. Let's check.
I mean, if you can tell me one right-leaning program on ABC, I would love to know.
I mean, you can pick a news network that exists that is left-leaning, but
give me a right-leaning one on ABC. Just one.
Okay, you're kind of gish-galloping here. Like, you do recognize that the billionaire class that own all of these media conglomerates directly donate to Trump's campaigns. They attend his fucking inauguration and various galas and stuff. They sit at the table.
No, I don't know that.
They do.
You think all the billionaires who own media sits at the inauguration with Trump? No, I don't know that. I see. Facebook.
No. I'm not going to continue a conversation with somebody who doesn't recognize that the billionaires who own the media in this country. I don't think you're stupid. I think you're lying to me, and I'm not interested in having a disingenuous conversation.
I asked you for one source, sir. You haven't given it to me. If you think the right owns the media, I mean that's a wild take.
It's not.
You think they have programs talking?
No, I'm accusing you of being too educated to think that. I'm not going to waste time on my fucking show talking to somebody who doesn't recognize that. What I specifically said, by the way, that you hyperbolically declared that I was being an absolutist when I'm very careful not to. What I specifically said is that the right has disproportionate control of the media, and you started asking for individual counterexamples as though that would disprove me. I'm not interested in it. Fuck off, Jersey Joey. Go be disingenuous on somebody else's live. I ran. I'm a L host, right? Everybody put L host in the chat because I ran from somebody who's not willing to fucking take in reality. I don't give a fuck. Nobody takes that seriously. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Katie. No, Trump is in office because of misogyny and racism. I've seen it being a cis woman. Look at what the South is doing. Racism is rampant. Yeah, keemokazi, I was just going to click on your name. No, guys, it's L host. Everybody's putting W host. Stop it. It's L host. I lost. Don't send me gifts. No, I'm a failure. I'm bad at my job. Thank you for the gifts, everybody. Seriously though, it's just I've talked to that guy before, and it is just he is skilled at this particular flavor of gish galloping, where like even I let it go unnoticed for a second. It slipped past me that he had taken the very carefully not absolutist thing that I'd said and made it absolutist. It's like, here's a counterexample, and it's like, well, I said they had disproportionate control. I have some control over the media as somebody with the level of following that I do, and I'm obviously super left leaning. Like, that counterexample doesn't mean that TikTok doesn't disproportionately promote right leaning content. That doesn't mean that there aren't tons of articles about how all of the social media platforms, which are slowly more and more and more becoming more owned by people who support Donald Trump, are also filtering their algorithms to make it a little harder for people on the left to succeed. I'm just not interested. I mean, basically, that guy's going to gish gallop so effectively, he's going to spread misinformation through my show, so I shouldn't platform him. If I can't keep up with the bullshit fast enough, he's not willing to listen. It's like why people like RC are probably never going to be platformed on my show again, because it's like, if you want to sit and talk about one argument that you're wrong about, we can sit and talk about one argument that you're wrong about, or right about, whatever, doesn't matter. Just stay on one fucking thing. If you're just going to move on with misinformation constantly, like faster than I'm able to keep up with it, then like, no, it's not what I do on the show. But we're out of guests, so I don't know. Today's a failure. L host, no victories. Has it only been 35 minutes? Feels like a longer show already. Oh my god. Miss V Marie wants me to check my Cash App. I did get you unmuted, Miss V Marie. I saw that somebody got muted because Miss V Marie does send a lot of donations to the show, so I allow her to put links in the chat. So thank you for the $3. I see those there. It was just a mistake. One of the mods didn't know that I allow you to do that. So thank you very much. But is there something else on Cash App that I'm supposed to see? Cash App's very slow with updating. People often tell me to check Cash App, and it's like 5 minutes later that it comes in. We are going to talk to keemokazi. PrimeFV700 is his username currently. I'm guessing the keemokazi account got banned. Keemokazi, you're 18 years old, correct?
I just changed the name.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
It's the same account.
Okay. No matter. What are we talking about today, keemokazi?
You want to pick a topic?
Well, do you know the topic that I always talk to you about?
I don't know which one.
I like to talk to you about whether or not how you learn things are true. Because you don't believe in basic science. You don't believe in any of the evidence I've ever shown you for anything. You don't think we went to the moon. You're... For my audience, because not everybody listening has talked to you.
Can't go to the moon, dummy.
So right, so that's why I'm reticent to have you on the show, because I can't really talk about anything with you at all, because you have this thing where you just say, "Oh, that's obviously bullshit. That's stupid." If I show you literally anything, I can show you video of something happening, and you'll just say it's AI if you don't agree with it. That's how you operate. That's how every conversation I've ever had.
You want to see one of the rockets look like it's going through water and then explodes in the sky? You want to see it?
But you got a link for me?
NASA.
I mean, you can.
It was one of NASA's rockets.
I don't think you're qualified to look at something and think that it's AI. You and I have been through this before. I want you to pick a claim. I want you to pick a thing that you think is
AI,
true.
Bro, you can look at it.
I just pick a topic. Let's keep it to politics. Pick something you care about. What's something you care about in politics right now?
Something I care about?
Yeah.
Our world.
Well, yeah, that's...
Care about our world.
I mean, that's the reason everybody should care about politics, is because it affects the whole world.
You got like a bad echo. I can't even
You have an echo?
I think you do.
I'm not hearing an echo. Is anybody in the chat, in either of the chats, hearing an echo? You can leave and come back if you want to just see if it's just caused by a call issue.
Yeah, hold up.
Yeah, I'll kick him. I'll just kick you. You can just try to come back. I don't even know if I want to talk to him. The guy doesn't believe the reason I'm so like I have such a hard time even picking a topic with that guy is that he just doesn't believe anything he's shown. But I also think it's kind of interesting to try to understand an 18-year-old who thinks that way. It's like what the show is about and for. Thank you, V, for the $25 total. Hold on. You were talking when you joined the call. I was thanking a donor. Thank you so much, V, for the total of $25 on Cash App. I appreciate you supporting the show in the way that you do. It makes a big difference to me. So W's in the chat for V. Miss V Marie over here on the TikTok chat. Is the echo still there, Keemokazi?
No, it's gone.
Okay. You're a new voter. You've never voted before, right? Because you just turned 18 in February.
Yep.
You know I want you to vote.
You got me like memorized.
You call in a lot, and I'll be honest with you, dude. Like, a lot of this show is just entertainment. It's people who are not going to be convinced of anything because they're racist, monstrous bigots, or whatever. And that might be racist? You. I was actually talking about other people. But I was saying most of the people are just like a complete waste of time. But you're so young and misguided that like I consider it valuable to try with you. I just confessed to the stream. I've decided I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I quit my job as a high school teacher to run this show. So I'm kind of qualified to talk to you about how to have a reasonable outlook on what is true and false. Obviously, as a high school teacher, I don't talk to the students about politics. I don't you gotta have that sanitary educational environment. But I have some professional qualifications in guiding people like yourself, people in your age group. But I find that you're unwilling to listen to a word I say. So I don't know what to say to you at all. I don't know how we can talk about.
What have I not listened to? What are you talking about? Like, you never told me any like valid evidence. You just say lies, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Is that everything I say that you just
Raven. Get Raven out of here.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Raven.
Raven's literally the one I hate the most.
I heard you were having a little love letter about me last time you were up.
Yeah, you're disgusting.
Thank you. So I was hoping we could talk. We've established pretty thoroughly that you're homophobic, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll hang around
wears it on
with
his
you
chest.
gay
I'm
people.
proud of him, at least for that.
I'll hang around with you gay people.
How about
hey Keemokazi, you're being kind of noisy, and it's hard to hear you over the noise, and it's bad for the show. Can you be less noisy, please?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Raven.
So yeah.
Oh wait! I gotta remove him already for what? Harassment and bullying.
Harassment and bullying. He
Yeah.
said some pretty homophobic stuff.
Yeah, he called you disgusting, didn't he?
Yeah.
But
You're
he's
just about to have fun.
Yeah. I remember what you wanted to talk to him about. But I'll keep that to myself in case it happens again. He's teetering on the ban list because it's just not productive to talk to the guy. There's no telling him anything.
Next time you see him in the queue, just send me a text and see if I'm available to make it worth your time.
Okay, we'll give that a go. Well, anyway, thanks for hopping up. I'll catch you soon, I'm sure.
Always. Love you all. Thank you, by the way, for the gifts.
W's in the chat for Raven. Raven brings some expertise to the show that I don't have, and certainly some representation I can't offer, and that's always helpful for the show. Nobody in the request queue on this, what is it, Monday? I'm sitting here flustered because I don't even know how to start with Keemokazi. And he's kind of the epitome of brain rot. He's the most brain-rotted caller on this show. Certainly the most brain-rotted regular caller. And if he's listening, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just trying to be accurate. That you scroll on your phone and you just take in all this nonsense from social media, and it has made him a person that thinks that we didn't go to the moon. There's a person who thinks that it's all AI. He thinks that, he has some seriously, anti-gay and anti-trans positions. And what I wanted to talk to him about before Raven showed up, where the direction I was going to take is I was going to start asking him about the midterms. Like, is he going to vote? Like, is this a person who even gives enough of a shit to participate in democracy in some kind of meaningful way? It's really, really difficult. And I am, giving up this job being an educator. I've been an educator my entire life, mostly in some capacity or another, I mean to say. And it's a little conflicting to give up like being an actual high school teacher to talk to brain-rotted high schoolers on TikTok. I don't know. You guys can let me know in the chat. You guys can message me and tell me what you think about Keemokazi being on the show. He's kind of a waste of time. It feels more and more like it's a waste of time. I've gotten the gags out of him we can get. We're going to talk to Septic Salad, who has gotten a lot of airtime lately. How old are you again, Septic Salad?
Yeah, I'm 40.
Forgive me. I know you've gotten plenty of airtime, but I'm kind of in this moment mixing up with a couple other people. What do we talk about generally, you and me?
Well, I was the one that initiated you bring the lawyer on because you were making claims about constitutional violations, and it's been determined that he hasn't been convicted of constitutional violations. So, I think we talked about that multiple times. I'm not sure if exactly.
Yeah, I remember. Are you the one who hired a lawyer for $250 to ask them some questions that to see if the lawyer that I'd brought up was accurate? And you were like, we basically talked around in circles for an hour just to get you to essentially admit that you'd wasted your money getting a lawyer to tell you the same thing that we told you.
That wasn't me. No. I was the one that introduced you to Miss D, something like that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. See, I am mixing up with a different caller. I was thinking of it. I wasn't thinking of a call with Attorney Dye. I was thinking of a call with Law of the Wild. Anyway, we can just start fresh. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I mean, Trump's still pretty good. Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I did look further into those potential violations. I mean, it seems like a lot of the litigation is surrounding like the 100-person deportation trials, which again, that's an executive function. They do have the right to make those decisions, whether or not that will be found as not being, fully in compliant with due process. I mean, that'll be up to the Supreme Court. We'll see. But as of now, that's we can't say that that's violating the Supreme Court or violating their rights. So, yeah. But I mean, tons of other stuff. I mean,
so you do recognize that we're in a situation where, because of the control that the Republicans have over the legislative and the judicial branch, it's possible that the thing that you need, never mind watching Trump, catching Trump red-handed doing something the Constitution says that he shouldn't do, watching him do that about once a week, you're never going to accept that as evidence. You have to see him in handcuffs in an orange jumpsuit with like the Supreme Court justices like cracking a whip at him, giving him his lashings for violating the Constitution. You have to see that, or you're just never going to admit that I was right. But we're in a situation where you might never get that because the entire government is falling into this corrupt fascist control by the Republicans. So like literally they could burn up the Constitution. They could they could take over the government and hire and come up with some scheme to get a constitutional convention done where they can burn up the Constitution and put a bunch of fascist nonsense in there. And you'll say technically they were following the rules.
Well, no, I was just saying, based on the authorities granted to the executive branch to conduct these kind of deportation, proceedings how they wish, based on what I was seeing, I just based off that, and I'm not a lawyer, we established this, but based off what I was reading about what their authorities are, I would say that is convincing to me that they are not violating due process or anything here. So whether or not my opinion is convincing, that's obviously a different matter. So that's where I would say, obviously we'd have to put this to the Supreme Court in order to make that adjudicated decision. And whether or not the Supreme Court can be trusted, well, again, I don't think that the Supreme Court should be any party. Like I hate that there's a party affiliation with court appointment judges at all.
Naturally, that's the problem right now. Is that we have a partisan situation in a way that we're not supposed to, and the three branches of the government are disproportionately controlled by one group that is loyal not to the Constitution but the president. That is the whole problem. The whole problem is that people like you have an excuse to say, "Oh, well, he's not in prison for it yet. Must be okay. Doesn't matter that he's doing something. Doesn't matter that the same party that's upset about when Obama and Biden did it once or twice, he does it once or twice a week. Never mind once or twice in a presidency. It's fine." Like, it's just ridiculous, dude. I don't take you seriously. I think you're being disingenuous.
Well,
I don't think that you judge Biden through this lens.
I'm making that assertion based off what I view to be their, lawful executive authority to do these proceedings the way they choose. But what I hate about the justice system, I hate that like the Democrat Party, I hate that they don't appoint originalist judges, because we should be interpreting the Constitution across both parties based off originalist principles. We shouldn't be like redoing it to come up with new, legal theory in order to like enforce. You're
not
things
answering my concerns.
Like Roe v. Wade. Oh, I did answer. It's not just because like, unless he's in handcuffs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that according to what I'm saying, their executive authority
I'm asking you to use your brain. Like what I'm saying is that Trump has used a process that has been in place for decades, but has really ramped up in the last decade or so. He's used a process that the Republicans have been doing to essentially find loopholes to violate the Constitution in ways that doesn't land them in prison. So you get to sit there and say like, oh, nobody's been convicted of treason yet, therefore there isn't any treason happening. I'm just trying to ask you to take a step back from that, look at what Trump is doing, and reckon whether it's patriotic or not. Reckon whether it's good for America, good for democracy. Reckon whether or not he's really trying to defend and uphold that Constitution that he swore his oath to. I'm just asking you to be fucking reasonable for a second. Are you capable of that?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm saying that, based off of what they're doing in these situations, I don't feel that they're doing something inherently morally wrong. Even if we took it back from the stricture, the pure stricture of the law, like you said,
it's nonsense, dude.
Laws. I don't think that
there's such a large list of constitutional violations. There are so many things in the Constitution that are trying to stop Trump from doing all the things that he wants to do that we on the left are so upset about, and he's taking every step he possibly can to try to get around these things. He's filing executive orders that go directly against the language of the Constitution. He's obviously appointed Supreme Court justices who are willing to maybe side with him a little bit more than the Constitution sometimes. He has obviously trained the entire Republican Party to lick the boots of politicians who are willing to support him instead of the Constitution. Like, there's this big thing happening, and you're just like, nobody's been convicted yet, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't understand how you can look at his behavior and think he's being a constitutionalist.
You told me to step back from the Constitution, and then you lean back into the Constitution. So I stepped back and I said, no, I think that like, even if he is trying to, for example, end birthright citizenship, if I step away from the strictures of the Constitution, because there's an amendment for that, right? And if I was to look at it like, okay, outside of there being this amendment and these,
that's not what I asked you to do. I didn't ask you to ignore the Constitution and imagine what Constitution you might prefer Donald Trump to write. You're going a wrong direction with it. I'm asking you to look at Donald Trump's behavior and answer the question yes or no. Is he trying to subvert what it says in the Constitution?
I suppose he is pushing back on certain aspects of the Constitution.
Then remind me what he swears his oath to.
Yeah, that would be defend the Constitution, yeah.
And you just admitted that he is pushing back on the Constitution if we take a broad view of how he behaves in the Oval Office.
I don't think he's trying to violate the Constitution. I think that he is trying to actively push people and apply pressure in order to
he specifically in a television interview was getting grilled in a way that is rare. We saw just this weekend when he gets grilled like this, that nowadays he tends to just rage quit and run away, saunter away. But last year he was asked in an interview if he needed to obey the Constitution because the concern is that it's very difficult to give due process to as many people as will need to deport under his policies. And he said, I don't know, because the Constitution is in the way of what he wanted. That is an obvious demonstration that he doesn't give half a shit about the Constitution.
Well, I think we've made this point that I think that probably in real-time interviews like this, it's not because he's trying to violate the Constitution, but rather because he doesn't have memorize the exact statute within the Constitution.
He was asked, don't you need to follow the Constitution no matter what? And his answer was, I don't know. If he hasn't memorized the Constitution or his own oath of office to the degree that that's the answer to that question, do you think he's qualified to be president?
Yes, I do.
That's fucking insane. What's wrong with you? You don't understand what it means to be qualified to be president. That's absurd.
Well, the president is the chief executive officer of the country. A lot of these things are delegated down to other branches. So, like any kind of legal concerns, he's going to delegate down to the legal branch of the government.
Again, you're just giving me this legalese. Answer what I just asked you. The president said that he doesn't know if he has to follow the Constitution. His oath of office is to defend and uphold the Constitution. That should be enough right there. You shouldn't need any more information. Katie sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat just to point out that Trump is also targeting political opponents. Excuse me. She sent me $5. I'm going to give her the airtime. She sent me $5 just to also point out that Trump is targeting political opponents, which is a violation of the First Amendment, which is also accurate. But again, he said that he doesn't know if he needs to follow the Constitution. Forget everything else that you know about Trump. Nothing but fine dining and breathing in your brain. Fine dining, breathing, and the fact that Donald Trump said to a television reporter that he doesn't know if he needs to follow the Constitution. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I think he didn't know the exact answer based on the context of what
he didn't know the exact answer to the question, don't you need to follow the Constitution?
I think that she was framing, or the person probably was framing it as in like the Constitution says this, and then he's saying, I don't know if that's true, kind of thing. Like,
no, now you're doubting what he said, so we're just gonna fucking watch it. Okay, like I really take issue with the fact that you're behaving like a politician. You're behaving like you're running to office. You're like, well, by different interpretations, it's possible that in his head in that moment he was thinking something that related possibly to something that happened before the camera was like, yeah. I don't care about your fucking nonsense politician answers. I'm actually gonna scroll back to like halfway through, and we're just gonna watch a big chunk of this because I genuinely think maybe you don't understand just how dead to rights I have him on not upholding the Constitution. Why can't I hear it? Do I have the wrong sound device connected? Uh-oh, this might be a problem. Where's my volume mixer? Sorry. Maybe we're not going to watch it. No, it should be Focusrite audio. Why is it not playing? Oh, do I have tech issues today? This should be working, but it's not.
Well, I found the quote. It's, I don't know. I have to respond by saying,
no,
again,
stop. My God, dude, listen. I'm literally I'm just gonna play it from my phone so we can listen to his voice say it and we can listen to a longer section of it.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm usually not willing to disrupt the show with this, especially when I'm having technical difficulties, because I have no idea why this YouTube player is not actually coming through. But I'm just gonna blast it from my my phone here. So let's talk about. And you know what? I hope you listen. I hope you listen to the words here, and then we can actually have a conversation about it after.
Well, I'm reading the words, so
stop reading and listen, so you're on the same page as everybody.
Sure.
Well, and your Attorney General has said the issue is with that word facilitate. Will you seek clarification from the Supreme Court? Do you need to go back to the Supreme Court?
We may do that. I was asking about that. We may do that.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says.
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people on earth. Some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
Is anyone in your administration right now in contact with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia to the United States?
I don't know. You'd have to ask...
I'd forgotten, but it turns out it actually was. It was literally the same reporter that he's. Yeah. No. What are you talking about?
He thought that she was he thought that she was implying that they all, under the Constitution, they all needed like trials, like full blown trials. He was saying like, I don't know if that's what they're saying. He's saying
No. The question was, as president, don't you have to uphold the Constitution? To which he answered, I don't know.
He thought she was talking about trials and how due process.
If you want to read between the lines, specifically, what he was saying is that there might be so much need for due process that they're not going to be able to give everybody due process, which means they're going to go through with their impeachment effort without necessarily giving everybody due process because they want to do what they want to do so badly that they don't have to follow the Constitution in order to do it, which is literally unconstitutional and a violation of his oath of office.
No, you
are a fucking pretzel, dude. If you think otherwise, that's absurd.
Need like 2 to 3 million trials. That's what he was saying.
Which he's wrong about, by the way.
Yes. Because what he was thinking that she was saying, implying, was that like each of these people will get a due process in the form of like individual trials, every single one of them. Like, and so he was confused about what she was talking about, and he was specifically saying,
how on earth can you listen to that and conclude that Trump is trying to defend and uphold the Constitution, which is fundamentally his only job?
Because he literally said that he has a bunch of brilliant lawyers that are working for me, and they're going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court says. The Supreme Court does what? Do they interpret the Constitution?
I'm not interested in the fact that he is trying to use his lawyers and a Supreme Court to which he has appointed 3 of the 6 right-leaning judges. I'm not interested that that's his way out of the fact that just literally 1 second prior to what you just brought up, he answered the question, don't you need to defend and uphold the Constitution, by saying, I don't know. Yes, what do you mean?
He thought that she was implying that the Constitution dictates this certain level of due process. So he was saying, like, I don't know if that's I don't know if what your characterization is accurate. I don't know. The Supreme Court is telling me something different, and then obviously whatever the Supreme Court says, we're gonna follow.
I don't know how is I don't know an acceptable answer to that question from the president, regardless of context. Because no matter what the context is, no matter how confusing it is, no matter how much he has to depend on his lawyers for the exact path forward, no matter how much it might depend on a Supreme Court ruling that's coming out, the answer to the question, don't you have to defend and uphold the Constitution, is necessarily always yes, because that's the fucking oath he takes. Do you not understand what an oath is?
That wasn't the limit and strictures of her questions. It was within the context of their conversation.
I don't accept that. Because no matter what the context of the conversation,
what are you talking about?
No, when the question is, do you have to follow or violate your oath? The whole point of an oath is that you follow it regardless of the context. That's why we have oaths. It's to give you something important to fall back on if the context gets hairy. Hold on, everybody. We're doing a lot of deportations. Watch out. We need to give everybody due process because following the Constitution is more important than deporting people.
Yes, but she was trying to employ a tactical trap in a kind of a debate scenario where she's leading him into a corner. He just was avoiding being led into that corner because she was trying to frame it.
The corner she was putting him in is the same corner I am putting you in right now, which is that you are failing to recognize that it is always the president's job to defend and uphold the Constitution first, regardless of the context. They have to find themselves in contexts that... Yes, you are, dude. I'm going to point out what Sackboss just paid me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to point out to you, which is they said, caller, please recognize how silly it is that you have to baby his language, make excuses for him in order for him to not sound like an idiot. You are filling a lot of space between these lines, and I am talking about exactly the words he said. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think you're a fool. I think you're a disingenuous caller. I think you want the things that Trump wants. What?
It's because I have over a decade experience in taking things like that, exacting words, and actually analyzing them within context, with aggregating information, and
you make a mighty fine pretzel. It's still a pretzel, is what I'm saying.
Not a pretzel. That's how all analysis is done on these things. You take things, and you have to extrapolate it within the context. You can't just take someone's
no. My specific position in this conversation is that there is no context that makes it acceptable for the president to answer that question that way. If you think there is, you don't understand what an oath is.
No, it's unacceptable to violate his oath to the Constitution.
Correct.
It is acceptable to try to
If the question I'm going to talk over you. That makes it such that if you are asked the question, don't you have to defend and uphold the Constitution? You have to immediately think, oh, never mind all this context. I know that one. The answer's yes. You don't understand the job of the president. You're not a constitutionalist. You're not a patriot. You don't give a shit.
You do not have to do that in a conversation. When you're being interviewed.
Yes, you do.
When you're being interviewed by a disingenuous...
Yes, you do.
When you're being interviewed by a disingenuous...
Especially if it's a disingenuous interviewer. Don't fall for that type of shit. You're talking about somebody who you probably think is performing 40 chess moves to execute his office in a way that we can't even comprehend. If you think that, then even in the circumstance that we have a disingenuous interview, which I do not believe her to be, I believe her to be one of the only direct high-pressure interviewers who actually deserves to have a camera pointed at them in the same room as the U.S. president right now, because every single one of them is dropping the ball in the way that she hasn't. She proved that again this weekend by making him storm out of an interview for interrogating him about what happened with Todd Blanche in the 2020 election, which is a further demonstration of his corruption, given the fact that he replaced the fucking AG, Pam Bondi, with the very same lawyer who's responsible for the grievously illegal and unconstitutional things he did in 2020. She knows what the fuck is going on. I know what the fuck is going on. You know what the fucking is going on, and because you called into my show, my audience knows you're a fucking liar. You unpatriotic, unconstitutional traitor to the union.
I'm not lying at all. Nothing I ever said is a lie. What I'm saying is I'm taking it within context. She was leading him to the pasture. If he chooses not to be led in that moment, he doesn't have to stop what he's saying and be like, oh, because you asked me that question, even though the context...
He does.
He doesn't have to
Yes,
say
he
that.
does.
No, he doesn't have to be led.
100% does.
He doesn't have to be led that way. He does not have to let her lead him that way.
He has to answer the question, don't you have to defend and uphold the Constitution, by saying yes, because he's the president, and the president swears an oath to do exactly that.
He doesn't have to.
It goes no further than that.
He doesn't have to pause where the conversation is going in order to let her pivot.
He had to answer the question correctly. He's the president. Yes.
He eventually did say, obviously, we're going to follow what the Supreme Court says. So that is affirming that he will follow the Constitution. But he doesn't have to be in that moment led specifically the way that she wants to lead him in order to get her like frame her show the way that she wants to frame it. So no, he doesn't have to respond that way. He can respond however he wants, as long as he's following the Constitution.
No, but the question was, don't you have to follow the Constitution?
With that she snuck in there while framing that.
It's not a hard question.
The Constitution equals this.
It's not a hard question. Don't you have to defend and uphold the Constitution? Hell's pacifist? I can't read. Hell's Pacifist sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat. Says, the left is held to the standard of our most unhinged. The right is held to the standard of their most reasonable. It's wild. Yeah, there's a absolute hypocrisy in the standards here. But I mean, that's like a whole other separate issue. But no, I just don't accept a word you're fucking saying about this. You think it's acceptable for the president to fail that basic question? I don't care what the conversation's about. I cannot understand why you think it matters what the context is when the president is asked that question.
If I was to tell you that the Constitution dictates that we have to get all these people out without giving them a trial, and then you're saying, oh, I don't know. And then I said, well, don't you think that we have to follow the Constitution? That's what it says. And
I would say yes, but that's not what the Constitution says.
Okay, but you understand. But then I'd be like, no, it says that. It says that, and you're like, oh, but no. But you just said
that you have to follow the Constitution, but it doesn't say that. Is what I said. No. You just made up a different example because she's not talking about. You'd be right. You'd be right if she was talking about something that isn't in the Constitution, but she is talking about fucking due process, dude. She's talking about something that's on the Bill of Rights.
She was framing it specifically the way she interprets the due process.
You made that detail up. It's bullshit, and you know it.
That's what she was doing in that interview. She was framing it that
that doesn't change the content of the question. Don't you have to follow the Constitution?
Yes, but if she's doing it from bad faith and she's already framing it in her interpretation of the Constitution, what he did was say no. He just said that's not the lawyers. I got lawyers, and obviously we're going to follow what the Supreme Court says.
No. You like the farther we get. I want everybody to take in, and this is so fun because people who are watching the recording of this can go back and check. The farther we get away from that clip, it's been about 5 minutes since I played it now. The farther we get about it, every time you bring up what happened in it, you mischaracterize it a little bit further. Do you realize you're doing that, or is it intentional?
I've been same characterization the entire time. That she was trying to lead
Seb
him.
on YouTube Super Chat sent me 10 pounds just to point out that MAGA will take any slip of Obama's tongue as evidence that he's a Muslim. Even when Trump states something plainly, they tie themselves in knots to claim he didn't say it, which is what you're doing right now, caller.
I don't apply that standard to Obama. I didn't say that Obama's a Muslim.
Well, I didn't. I don't think anybody said
standards.
you did.
Whatever someone is saying, I take it within context and the overall context of what they're talking about. I don't take snippets out of context, and that's what the left does. Is they like to take the soundbite, like the word, I don't know, and then just move.
No, I made a point. Nope, I didn't do that. You wanted to do that. You listed the quote, and you made it a soundbite by just listing a couple of sentences on either side of it. I made sure not to do that. I went back a minute and played before that, and I let it play after it as well. What are you talking about?
So within the context, she was trying to lead him. He was trying to find a way not to be led. in that time, he was, his mind was kind of like, pushing back. Maybe it wasn't going in the exact direction, and he wasn't being led. His brain was.
I am, for the sake of argument, going to give you an inch and hope you don't take a mile, even though I know that that's exactly what you're going to do. And even if you're right that she tricked him into doing it, the president shouldn't be that fucking easy to trick into saying he doesn't need to follow the Constitution. That would be a lesser grievance, but it would still be an enormous one.
Tricked into saying that. No, I'm not saying that he was tricked into saying that as much as I'm saying that.
I don't understand how you're trying to argue in favor of him saying that.
His mind was prioritizing not saying anything that would be in the affirmative of her position at that time. So he was prioritizing just not affirming any of her positions. So even if the question is that's
not how the president should conduct themselves in an interview. They shouldn't expect the answer to everything they say to be no, and then say no irresponsibly, because a person has to execute the office of the president responsibly. What you're describing in order to excuse his behavior is also so irresponsible it means we should remove him from office. There is no way to make what he did look good, which is why you're a pretzel right now, dude.
That's not a reason to remove him from office. I mean, again, you'll apply equal standards. Like you apply that to Biden, like we would have removed.
There's the mile, right? I gave you the inch, and I said that even if you were right, it would still be bad. And here's the mile. You're saying that it wouldn't be a reason to impeach him, which you're right. If it was that, it probably wouldn't be. I'm arguing it's fucking not, dude. He's working very hard to violate the constitutional liberties of exactly the group of people that she was talking about. He filed an executive order that took away their birthright citizenship. That's unconstitutional. The fact that he's supporting DHS while they're plainly violating people's first, second, fourth, 15th, or first, second, fourth, fifth, 10th and 14th Amendment rights by what they're doing in the individual states that they're sending in here. We've seen that here in Minnesota. We're seeing it now in New Jersey. We're seeing it everywhere ICE operates, where people are pointing cameras. So there's this pattern of behavior where there's a very specific group that he wants to take constitutional liberties away from. So if you want to talk context, that's the fucking context, you moron. I'll take the harassment and bullying flag. You are a moron.
So you agree that that we should have birth tourism?
No.
Okay,
no. I'm not gonna let you sidestep it by that. If you want to change the 14th Amendment, if you don't like a loophole that it creates for some people to do a behavior that you don't like, there are avenues to change that in this country, and they don't involve the Supreme Court. I don't think, because they've already ruled on it, and I don't think it's likely for that to be a constitutional path forward. I don't think it involves the president. It would involve writing your congressperson, because they're the people who can update amendments to get rid of old ones. So it just isn't the path forward. You keep falling.
The Supreme Court
I laid out such a clear demonstration of the fact that what he's doing is a targeted effort to subvert the constitutional rights of a specific group of people, and your answer was, oh, but I don't like something that group of people is doing. Yes, dude, makes you a fucking traitor, makes you unconstitutional.
I was asking if you liked it.
Not relevant.
You said no.
It doesn't matter. I don't like the idea of that, but I don't even really care that much. Stop getting stuck on that. I'm not going to let you pivot away from the fact that he is exercising a pattern of behavior where a great deal of his constitutional violations are targeted at a specific group of people. We have a president whose attempts to subvert the Constitution, which you admitted, you said he's pushing back at the Constitution, they are targeted at a specific group of people. How do you... I'm not even going to bother asking how you recognize if that's unconstitutional, because I believe that you do recognize that that's unconstitutional. I just think you're a bad person, and you're trying to make these arguments in spite of what you actually think about this situation. Thank you, Jen, for the $2. Jen likes spicy Oscar. I am kind of spicy today.
Trump doesn't like birthright tourism. You don't like birthright tourism, and a reasonable person could say that the original intent
that bears not on the fact that the president of the United States has an active effort through multiple avenues to violate the constitutional liberties of a particular group of people that he doesn't like.
A person could deduce that the originalist interpretation of that amendment was not afforded to things like birth tourism. So if he were to take that to the Supreme Court and they were to
stop bringing up other interpretations. An originalist interpretation? Fuck your originalist interpretation. We're going to go by the Supreme Court's interpretation, which says that those children are fucking citizens, dude. Are you a patriot or not? Do you follow the fucking rules or not? Because if you're not following the rules, you're a fucking traitor.
If the Supreme Court were to rule, based off of their interpretation, that that amendment did not extend to things like birth tourism, then he would be able to Do what?
That is, as a matter of legal fact, true, which is why it was unconstitutional for Donald Trump to attempt to overturn that amendment using Executive Order 14160. Again, the thing about the pretzel is that no matter where we go along the loops, we still end up in the same fucking knot, dude. It's all part of the same pattern of behavior.
The Supreme Court rules against the birth tourism like that, and rules that the originalist interpretation of that amendment was never meant to afford these types of citizenships being afforded to these people. If they were to rule that way, and he said, okay, birthright citizenship, now as the executive officer, he would be.
But you're making shit up. The Supreme Court has specifically ruled not in that way. It's not even as though he was. It's not even as though he was.
Supreme Court rulers have done that. Yes. What about current ones?
How is any of this an argument for the president following the Constitution?
Because he hasn't violated the Constitution. He hasn't denied birthright citizenship to these people.
He filed an executive order taking away their birthright citizenship. He tried to.
Citizenships revoked.
Dude. Seriously, you're gonna play these fucking. This is where the call started. We talked about the fact that you can make this pretzel about exactly how effective all of his attempts to subvert the Constitution. I would argue that Alex Preddy's Second Amendment right was violated. They took his fucking life because he was carrying a gun. Are we gonna give him restitution? Is Alex Preddy gonna be okay when the Supreme Court rules that was unconstitutional? Is that gonna give him his life back? Is that gonna make people like me less afraid to walk down the street? I don't carry a Leatherman multi-tool on my belt when I walk down the street anymore because I'm terrified that an ICE agent is gonna think it's a gun holster and fucking murder me, because that's what they do with well-known protesters of ICE in Minnesota if they're seen carrying a firearm, which according to the Second Amendment I'm allowed to do here.
The shooting of Pretty. I don't know why you're going on that diatribe.
Because Donald Trump does.
I disagree with Donald Trump when he said vile things about Pretty, and I disagree with him because I'm able to criticize my political leaders when they do things wrong.
Not enough, dude.
That's exactly how we're supposed to be engaging this. You're not supposed to say, oh, well, he said a mean thing, impeach him. That's not how this works.
I didn't say mean. It's bad faith. It's disingenuous. There are people listening to this conversation who weren't here from the beginning. So when you say something like that, when you say, oh, he just said something mean and Oscar wants him to be impeached for it, it's such an unfair mischaracterization of my position in this. And I know from talking to you that you simply aren't stupid enough to have misremembered it in that way. I know what you're doing is disingenuous. And that's why I don't want you on my show much longer, because you're going to keep doing shit like that. And we're going to keep wasting airtime going back to the beginning and saying, no, we already covered this. We already watched the tape. We already explained how this is unacceptable. You already had this concession where you admitted that what he was doing is pushing back against the Constitution, which the president simply isn't going to do. But you are skilled at this, and you recognize that there aren't people who listen to the entire conversation. So you can just keep reiterating the same bad faith arguments. And every single time they come up, I have to shoot them down again. And it is a waste of my fucking time, which is why you have 30 seconds after I finish this sentence to say whatever the hell you want before I hit the button. Goodbye.
Pushing back is not violating. Violating is not pushing back. Pushing back is not a reason for impeachment. You just don't want him to push back because you hate him. You got severe TDS, so that's why you're elevating it to that position. If it was a Democrat politician who was actively violating the Constitution, you would not. And this is evidence because you didn't have a talk show claiming to push Obama out when he actually was adjudicated as having violated the Constitution, and Biden was adjudicated as having violated the Constitution, and you didn't push for either one of them. So,
that's 30 seconds. Septic Salad might be banned from the show for being disingenuous. Fucking pulled out the TDS at the end there, man. What a cope. What a cope. Absolutely incredible. Seb sent me £5 on YouTube Super Chat and said, basic fact, his job is to exercise laws, not make, interpret, or push back on them. Yeah, fucking for real, man. It's fucking absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I don't know. I chat. I know the chat likes spicy Oscar. I am a little spicy today. I disagree with you. I agree with you about the interpretation of the Second Amendment. Okay. Oh man, I gotta calm down now. I gotta take a breath. Thank you for the W's, everybody, and thanks for going to the link tree in my bio and supporting the show in the way that you do. Because I quit my job to do this, and it's like a little. I'll talk about it more on Thursday. I'll talk about it after I'm properly quit. I just wanted it to come up today. Anyway, nobody in the queue, so we can just talk to the chat for a little while, or I will urge everybody on TikTok to get double tapping away on the screen so we can get some fresh viewers in here, and I can have a conversation maybe with somebody who actually, like, I miss the conversations of people who just like are actually trying to understand politics, you know, like, and I anyway, I'm just rambling now. What's up, Leah? How old are you?
Hey, sorry, I'm 41. So I just wanted to explain what I had said to Septic Salad, in that he was saying the originalist interpretation of the Constitution. Well, if we want to apply that to the Second Amendment, then only well-formed militia can carry weapons.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sorry. What's your argument about his position? I think I might have misheard you there.
So Septic Salad had said something about interpreting the Constitution on the foundational values or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, in that case, with the Second Amendment, let's make it so that only well-formed militia can carry.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, if we go by original definitions, like AK-47s didn't exist in the 1700s, so it's just not, like, we have
exactly.
to go by...
The Second Amendment was only written for powder, black powder muskets.
Right. And if we're going to have a modern like, the way I follow the Constitution is that I recognize that the Supreme Court has rulings on it, and the Supreme Court has ruled on things about firearms, which has updated the Second Amendment. So yeah, I guess you're just pointing out a further problem with him using that approach. I would argue that sort of caller, I would argue that sort of caller is going to pull an originalist argument when it serves him, and he's going to ignore it when it doesn't.
Yeah, so sorry. That was all I was trying to do, was point out his hypocrisy.
Okay, gotcha. No worries. I'll let you down. Thanks for pointing that out, and Leah can be unmuted if they're still muted. I forgive them. I also disconnected them. They're still connected. There we go. TikTok has been slow about that lately. Do we like spicy, Oscar? Somebody wants to take a moment to say, go Spurs! Go Spurs. I don't even know what sport they play. I don't follow sports. The thought of a semi-automatic rifle was sci-fi when the Constitution was written. Yeah, I have thoughts about that generally. I actually think that the Second and First Amendment have the same problem, which is that the technology has changed so much since they were written that I think the landscape around those topics has changed in such a way that the Founding Fathers wouldn't recognize the issue anymore. And I can imagine some ways in which both need to be very seriously reformed, because I think that clearly we're in a situation now where free speech is controlled by technology because everybody engages in speech through technology, and this technology is controlled by a small few wealthy people. So we have a little problem here, which is that if the wealthy people want Oscar to shut up, they can kind of just make me. I don't know what I'd do. Go back to my job. Ben sent me $5 on Venmo just to say, doing great. Yeah. I mean, every show has a different attitude. And like I saw a YouTube comment where somebody was like, oh man, like, your mood was different today. Like, I've been following for a long time, but after this one, I think I'm done. And I'm just kind of like, I do a show for 2 hours every single day. Like, you get a different Oscar a little bit every day. Not always perfect. I had a big fuck up yesterday. I had to issue a big correction. It's in the description. Correction's in the description if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube. If you see something that needs correcting that I got wrong, please tell me, please. Let's see what's going on in the YouTube chat. Is there a name for the psychological tendency to pretzel yourself into justifying anything a person does? Cognitive dissonance is, I think, related, but anything a person does, I don't know. Cultism, something like that. I think that's the problem. Is that like he's accusing me of having TDS. He's accusing me of saying Orange Man bad, and I'm literally just sitting here like, look at the words the man said. Look what he did. Look at his executive authority. Look at his actions. Look at what he's doing. No Naval Nate says Oscar's cooking here, and we don't stand on soapboxes in the town square to speak our opinions anymore. Well, that's what I mean by the First Amendment. Like, the First Amendment protected you standing on the soapbox. If this is my soapbox, it's not protected by the First Amendment because it's owned by TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, where all the clips go and stuff. Like, there's all these external things that affect the way in which I can get my voice out there to people. So I think we just need a better system. And spicy Oscar, I think my regular viewers know it's pretty performative. You can kind of see it gets dropped a little bit when the call ends. I'm not actually all that worked up. I just take different approaches on it. And I'm just sick of septic salad. I think I've become sure enough that septic salad is genuinely disingenuous that I'm just fed up. I'm just done taking his bullshit. I think that it is our civic duty to not allow people to bullshit through their teeth like that. So maybe going forward, I will start taking a more aggressive approach with the people that I think are disingenuous. I'll risk my reputation a little bit. The difficulty with choosing that somebody's being disingenuous and responding by being mean. Steve, I'm muting you in the chat. You are you think that septic salad was so wrong. If you want to go, buddy, you can. Oh, I pinned your comment. That's okay. People can see your comment. But I'm gonna mute your account. If you want to talk about it, you got to hit the request button on your screen and talk about it, because I'm not interested in you defending the person who just did what I said they were doing. Which is that they were disingenuous on the show. And as the host, I have this dilemma where if I think somebody is being disingenuous, but they're not, they're being genuine and they're just like lost. I look really bad jumping down their throat, like kind of rightfully so. But then there's the other way around, where if somebody is being disingenuous, but I give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe out of concern for what I just said, but maybe even though I'm suspicious that they're being disingenuous, but I'm just not going to levy the accusation, I look like a fool. I look like I'm falling for it. A lot of the time, guys, when I'm being trolled, I know I just have to collect enough. It's like when the DA doesn't press charges until they have all the evidence they need for the charges to stick. I need to be sure that somebody is being truly disingenuous before I make the accusation, or I just look like a total asshole to all the people who think I'm wrong. Like, it needs to be obvious that I'm right. And I think the show just has collectively enough evidence on the fact that that septic salad is just not. He's not serious. That dude has ulterior motives. I think that him saying that he's upset about Alex Preddy was an attempt to disarm what I was talking about. I think that the Alex Preddy argument was too strong for him. LT Water 123, are you one of the people who's going to get my account banned? I don't remember. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Yeah. I am looking for one more debate, so I'm going to put you down for now. I do remember who you are. I just wanted to see. Oh, we did get Steve. Yeah, because I want Steve. I want to talk to Steve. How old are you, Steve?
I'm 59, sir.
Okay. I'm guessing you support Trump.
Yes. No, actually, and you know what? I'm not one to disrespect or get into shouting matches or insult. I'm just on that topic because I did watch that video literally 10 minutes before you guys were discussing it. And I watched it twice. And I do believe that she was leading him down that path. And you're not seeing exactly what happened. He definitely was answering the question as far as does he believe that all 5 million people have to be go to court and have a hearing and all that, and that's what he said. He didn't say no. I don't have to follow Let me finish. He didn't say no. I don't have to follow the Constitution. What he said was, I don't know if we have to give all 5 million people the due process. That's what he was saying. He wasn't saying, I don't know if I have to follow the Constitution.
Right, but the Constitution says that you do have to give all 5 million of those people due process. So what's your point?
Well, my point is that the argument was saying that you were saying that he answered, no, I don't know.
Regardless of which question you think he thought he was answering, the answer should still have been yes.
Okay, I can say this. Let me end this discussion right now by saying on the same thing when he said, when at his State of the Union, when he said the number one thing of the president and the Constitution is what? Is the people, right? Everybody stand up who agrees with that, and the whole left sat down, right?
No, right? I'm not interested in your pivot. Whether or not she was asking,
it's not pivoting. It's going down the same thing as you're saying.
What was your example? Fine, I'll let you pivot. What was it again?
That means they don't believe. That means they don't believe in the Constitution. Then
I don't know. Say your example again. What?
At the State of the Union, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. At the State of the Union, when he said the number one, what is the number one thing? Basically, that the president and the Constitution is for the people, to protect the people, right?
Right. The reason the left sat down on that is because they so recognize that he's not actually doing that. They so recognize the disingenuous nature of his approach to the Constitution.
That's exactly what he was doing in this interview.
That's bullshit.
No, see?
She was specifically asking about the amendment rights of people who are currently under threat of being approached by law. No, that is horseshit. He wasn't.
No, it's not.
He didn't say stand up if you believe in the Constitution. He didn't say stand up if you believe the president should follow the Constitution. He didn't say stand up if you think that people.
You think they would have stood up?
They sitting and standing during a speech is how you show support for the speaker. It is not a specific answer to a specific question. I think you understand that. You are being disingenuous.
No.
Spicy Oscar returns! You're being disingenuous.
No,
That's horseshit and you know it. No, you're a grown-up. You made it 60 years on Earth. You know that it's different for the president when asked pointedly by a reporter if they need to follow the Constitution.
That's not what she said.
You know, yes. Don't you have to defend and uphold the Constitution? That's what she said.
The context of the question. They were talking about due process.
Are you Septic Salad under another account? What the fuck is this?
Well, now that you got two people disagreeing with you, maybe you're the one that's the problem.
2! Holy shit! 2? Oh my God!
Talk to 100 more.
I don't know. Can we? I've talked to hundreds, dude. It's what I do. It's my day job.
Yeah, I guarantee you, there's not one Republican who's going to agree with you.
That's the fucking problem.
No, that's exactly what the best part of it.
Oh yeah, I'll farm the engagement. Let's ask the chat, host or guest.
Why? It's your follower. What? That's the stupidest thing ever.
To farm engagement, to get more views is why I'm doing that. Polling the chat's really good for the live stream. Thank you for the $2 on YouTube Super Chat, Katie. You said this caller is gaslighting. We heard the clip. Yeah, dude, you're doing exactly the same that Septic Salad did. You're being disingenuous in exactly the same way. It is absurd. It is absurd to suggest. It is absurd to suggest that people sitting down because they recognize that it was
disingenuous. Would say she was leading him.
Do you think she was being disingenuous when she asked the president of the United States if he has to defend and uphold the Constitution? Do you think that's a disingenuous question to ask?
Absolutely, 100%.
Fucking absurd. Fucking absurd.
Absolutely. No. Why do you think she was asking that right after they were discussing about the fucking 5 million people that have...
Because people are very, very concerned about whether or not the president's following the Constitution right now, specifically relating to that subject matter. So in the context, yes, again, the question is still the same. Regardless
what did he say right after that? That the fucking they'll do whatever the Supreme Court tells them to do.
Yes, he is trying to get his lawyers to figure out ways to get him around the Supreme Court. That's why when he's been asked about violating the 27th Amendment, which is what's going to stop him from running for a third term, he has said... repeatedly that his lawyers are looking into other options and all this other stuff. They're specifically trying to get around it on purpose.
He says a lot of stuff, Oscar. Come on.
I don't accept the he says a lot of stuff answer. That's ridiculous, dude. He's the president of the United States. He needs to answer correctly when he's asked if he's going to follow the Constitution. Michael Jasko says on Cash App for $2, for anything that isn't a yes is a no, W host. Yeah, it's just that simple. I don't accept the context. I recognize that the context is of the State of the Union address is that he was saying that he was protecting American people. The thing they disagreed with is that no, he's not protecting American people. The left disagrees with...
That wasn't his question, though.
What did he say?
He said, if you think the number one thing of the Constitution is to protect the people, stand up. He didn't say, do you think I'm fucking doing it? He asked, is that the number one thing of the Constitution? Look it up.
No, I did. What do I search to find this? State of the Union.
Trolling left.
This left side sits. Let's see. During this, I just want to find the exact clip.
It's the same thing that you just did right now with him and that reporter.
Oh, hold on. Because I just realized my sound's not working on the YouTube for some reason. I'm not going to be able to find it.
Do it on your phone.
Yeah, it's hard to find the correct clip. Maybe.
I'm not trying to disrespect you, or I'm just.
I think you are. I'm accusing you of acting disingenuously and not actually telling me what you believe, because I don't think then your opinion is ridiculous. Maybe you are lost, because it is just absolutely absurd. When the entire
I've been saying that the left are a little crazy, so it's coming from you. I don't really take grain of salt to it.
I just can't. I cannot understand how somebody like you can wrap their head around. I cannot understand how. Now you're just calling me crazy, but I cannot understand how how you think that the answer to the question, don't you have to defend and uphold the Constitution, can under any circumstances be anything other than a yes if you're the sitting U.S. president.
All right, look at the State of the Union. That means all of your left that were there did not follow the Constitution.
Okay, What if mods want to find the clip? I can pull it up on my phone. I'm just not going to do the research live on the air because I'm having a tech issue.
That means that none of the left that were there follow believe in the Constitution.
We're talking about the president. Who cares if the people in that room? Like, we're specifically talking about
the pivot. Okay.
I'm just saying that even if you're right, which you're not, it still doesn't address the fact that the president said he doesn't have to follow the fucking Constitution.
There's senators and congressmen left there.
Yeah, I disagree with you about what it means for them to have not approved of that moment in his speech, because sitting or standing is just approval of what a person said, dude. Like,
that was, but he asked a specific question before.
I would have sat too. I'd say fuck your shitty disingenuous question. Like, it's horseshit, dude. Like,
you suffer from TDS. I get it.
What is TDS? Let's talk about TDS. If you think TDS is a real thing, let's change the topic.
Your whole life revolves around Trump.
Okay. Do you think that Caroline Leavitt has TDS?
I don't really know. I don't know much about her. What she
Who
thinks
is
about
Caroline Leavitt?
You do this all day.
Who is Caroline Leavitt?
She is the one that left. Wasn't she a senator?
No, she's Donald Trump's press secretary. It's her job to report on his actions and his policies. Does she have TDS?
No, she's works for him.
Okay, so then your definition of your entire life.
She's paid to say what he tells her to say.
I'm paid to say what I want to say, which I think is a more fun job. But my point is that you said that
TDS. You proved my point.
No, but I'm trying to understand what TDS is, and you said it's having your entire life be about Donald Trump. Her entire life is about Donald Trump, and she doesn't have TDS, so it's not a good definition. Do you want to try again?
No, but you actually literally wake up and go to sleep thinking about Donald Trump.
That's an accusation that isn't true. I have a beautiful, awesome, fun, interesting life outside of this show. I'm a fucking musician.
What would your content be if it wasn't for Donald Trump?
Dude, that's not an answer to my question, which is what is the definition of TDS? Because I gave you a counterexample.
You think he can do no right?
No, we're not going to move on. We're not going to move on. You're using TDS. It's an important word in your vocabulary. TDS is an important word in your vocabulary. I'm going to insist that you be able to define it. And you defined it in a way that includes Caroline Leavitt. And then when I told you who she was, you immediately said that she doesn't have TDS. So you need a new definition.
Or maybe she is. I don't know. Maybe she is. I don't care, but I know you are.
Okay. How do you know?
Because you literally spend your entire life thinking about Trump.
Okay, so does she. So that does that mean that she has TDS?
TDS?
Okay,
yes.
Does Donald Trump himself have TDS? Because he spends his whole life thinking about him, I think, almost more than anybody else.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I've never heard of anybody being accused of having TDS about themselves, but okay, if that makes you feel better with your TDS, sure, he does too.
Okay, so why is it a meaningful thing to accuse somebody of it when Donald Trump himself has it? What does it mean? What does it matter if I have it then?
Literally, there's not one thing that he could do that you would say a good thing about him. Not one.
Operation Warp Speed during his first term was incredible. He did a great job on that.
How about this term?
This term? He's working on rescheduling the green substance that I personally enjoy quite a lot. I'm glad he's doing that. That's great.
All right. But you know what? Actually, to be honest with you, even good or positive, it's still TDS. You still think about him all day.
Right. So again, you're just trying to label it in a way that applies to me, and we're just not finding ways that. It bothers me that you think it's a real thing. Like, he made it up. It's just some bullshit he made up by executive order, like the idea that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to illegal immigrants. Made up bullshit from an executive order. Again, I would like for you to address. You just asked me to provide an example of something good that he did. I did from his first term. You asked for one from his second term, and I did. Do you recognize that it was a bad accusation when you said that I couldn't say that he's done anything good?
Yes.
Okay, so you were wrong about me,
it's still
right?
TDS.
Okay, so that's what. But you were saying that I have TDS because I can't say anything good about him. So I said some good thing. It might be a content thing,
though. It might be a content thing. I mean, I get it. You got to make a living.
No, what is TDS? If I am able to say something positive about Donald Trump, which I did. I actually saw a video of him where maybe this will be in favor or not, but like I saw him interact with a child who clearly had special needs, and I had a genuine moment of thinking to myself, he is doing such a good job of being nice to this kid who has special needs. Now,
he does that quite often, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm just sitting here giving you counterexamples to this accusation that I have TDS and I can't say anything nice about him. I can say something nice about him. Would you like to try a third time to define TDS in a way that applies to me, but not Republicans?
To me, Trump deranged syndrome, to me, my personal opinion, is a person that literally cannot go a day in their lives without thinking about how Donald Trump is the bad man and how Donald Trump is ruining our country.
So you think? So I mean, do you? So you
be honest? Do you do that?
Yeah, that one I will admit does apply to me. I do think about how Trump is a bad president every day. Okay, so when Biden was president, did you think he was a bad president ever?
I couldn't even think. I don't even remember ever even seeing any of these podcasts and lives. Maybe because I mean it was existent, but I don't remember ever seeing lives against Biden. Do you?
Yeah, there were. I guess let me ask you this. Okay, no, because you've gotten to a definite. It took you 3 tries, which I think is an L for the guest personally. But on your 3rd attempt, you did find a definition that applies to me. I do this show every single day, and so just necessarily, the public is aware. I do spend some of every single day thinking about how Donald Trump is a bad president. But I just think it's absurd to say. Here, let me take this angle on it. Hypothetically, could you imagine a Democratic president behaving in such a way that you thought about how bad a job they were doing every day? Like if they were doing really bad things that affected your day-to-day life?
Do you think Trump's doing that?
Yeah.
Has your life changed since Trump's been president? Your personal life?
Yeah.
Really? How?
I live in Minneapolis.
Okay.
We've had some periods where even just trying to go about your normal business here, it's been really chaotic and dangerous because of Trump.
But that was because you guys decided to go protest.
No, we protested because they made life chaotic and dangerous here.
No. Let's get this straight. I live in California, so I've seen it too.
The question again is, can you use that big old noodle of yours to imagine a situation where a Democratic president is affecting your life daily in a way that's negative?
No. But Trump doesn't affect my life daily either.
Okay, so you're unable to imagine living under some type of horrible regime dictatorship that's bad?
Well, yeah, if I lived in Venezuela or Iraq or North Korea.
If you lived in Venezuela or Iraq or North Korea, do you think you would think about the leadership of that country every day?
Well, yeah, because I would be afraid of dying.
Do you think it would be appropriate for the opposition to say that you have some made-up mental disorder, that the person that you're thinking about themselves, if Kim Jong-un says you have KDS, Kim derangement syndrome, because you're worried about the 3rd immortal leader from the Kim dynasty. If you're worried about that, that means you have KDS. Do you think that you living in North Korea would think that that's a reasonable thing?
Here's the difference between what you're trying, the point you're trying to make. Let me prove it wrong to you right now. In Venezuela or Iran or North Korea or even Cuba, I guarantee you 90 to even 98% of the population feel the same way. Here, it's 50-50, if that.
It's not. His approval rating is in the 30s. But again, these are not answers to my questions. I'm trying to pin down, do you think I have a mental disorder? Do you think that a doctor would diagnose me with TDS?
Well, if it was actually a disorder, I think yes, he would.
But it's not, because the president made it up.
Of course, yes.
So it's just a bullshit. It's just a bullshit meme. Why are we spending airtime on this? What the fuck, dude? Who cares what you think of me?
I said you suffer from TDS, and you went on this long thing over it.
Boo fucking who? It's a made up goddamn disorder. I think you're a goddamn traitor to your country. That's real.
Really, I served for my country, buddy. Did you?
I'm serving my country more today than you are.
Oh, really? I served in Desert Storm. I highly doubt you can even say that with a straight face.
Thanks for doing that. But today, on this particular Monday, I'm serving my country.
Do you do that sitting in that computer room?
You have betrayed your oath too. Then you also swore an oath to the Constitution. You're violating that oath right now by having this conversation with me. Absolutely, you are. Fuck you, dude.
Not even. I disagree 100%. It's over 80 million people.
That's not enough people, dude. I don't care, man.
Enough to make him president.
Just because you serve doesn't mean you get to violate the Constitution. You're a disgrace you're a disgrace to your uniform, is what you are.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah, you would never even be able to fit my uniform.
Would it be baggy?
Yeah, and not only that, it's a metaphor. Like you can't, you have some big shoes to fill. You wouldn't be able to fill my shoes either.
Okay. I'm talking about the things we're actually doing. I don't care how big your fucking uniform is, dude.
You're actually insulting a serviceman. That's how deep you are in TDS.
Yeah, and you're disgracing the uniform. What you're doing is worse. I'm just pointing it out.
Ask any military person that's serving or has served in a combat situation.
Raven, are you in the chat? Hold on, one of our mods is a veteran. I think they're here. I'll let them come up if they want to. They might not agree with the way I'm talking to you. They're their own person. But I stand by the way I'm talking.
Yeah,
to you.
I haven't attacked you at all. Insulted you, and you're insulting me.
You've attacked the Constitution, which I find grievously offensive. Raven is here. So you asked any service person, right?
Yep.
All right, we've got one.
I know for sure she hasn't been in combat because she's a woman.
Hi.
Hi.
So, do you discredit people's service if they haven't been in combat?
Well, no, he's talking about serving our country, and we were talking about bullets flying over our head. That's what we were talking about.
That's not what we were talking about.
I tried to kneecap my service before I could even load in.
What's that?
I heard you try to kneecap my service before I even loaded in.
Well, I just said I know you haven't been in combat. Is that true?
And why does that matter?
If it matters to me, it may not matter to you.
We both took the same oath, yeah.
What's that? What was your MOS? First of all, what military were you in? What branch?
Air Force 2MO. When I got out, I was a 5-1.
God. Never mind. It's not even worth having this conversation with you.
No. You were going to accuse Raven of stolen valor.
The service members.
No. My MOS was 13 Bravo.
Steve, I have a specific accusation, which is that I think that you were going to attempt to accuse Raven of stolen valor, but I happen to know Raven in real life, and I know Raven isn't.
Not at all. I believe she was in the Air Force. Why would I not?
Then why did you?
I think he's accusing stolen valor. I think he's looking to minimize my service in order to minimize my opinion that he is an oath breaker.
Yeah, either way, but he's obviously an oath breaker. Do you agree, Raven?
Oh, absolutely. If you support Trump, you're an oath breaker. We have the evidence to show it.
So you're TDS also.
He qualifies as a domestic enemy to the Constitution.
In your eyes.
In reality's eyes.
I have a feeling if they pulled all 1.4 million active service members, you would be in the minority.
That doesn't really say much. If you really want to go on a quantitative measurement, what was your ASVAB score? What was your ASVAB score?
Oh, now you want to get into a battle of wits, really? First of all,
if you really want to get into it, this is a battle of wits. So, yes, what was your ASVAB score when you joined the military?
I have a feeling that my ASVAB test was a little bit different than yours.
Okay, what was your score?
What if I told you that we didn't even have to take him back in those days?
Then I would say that it's pretty obvious why they implemented it.
Oh wait, I'm gonna interrupt this delightful conversation because I missed a big YouTube super chat, which is bad for me as host. So Elusive Viper sent $10 with the quote that we were so upset about the left not standing for at the State of the Union. The exact quote was, "If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens." And then maybe I would agree with that, but then they go on. He went on to say let me finish. He added 3 words: not illegal aliens. And the duty of the American government is to defend and uphold the Constitution, which also protects the rights of illegal aliens, which is also not the label I like to use for them.
No. He finished the question. Nobody stood up. Then he said that. So they didn't stand up before he said that second part.
If you want to find the video and send it to me,
I know it. I've seen it. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, dude. My point is that I don't actually agree with the statement that the first duty of the American government is to do that. It's to uphold the Constitution. What? And when he's doing it in a way that's violating the rights of illegal immigrants, that's bad and unconstitutional.
The duty of the government is not to protect the people?
It's to defend and uphold the Constitution, and the Constitution is written in a way that protects the people, all people, because there's some human rights in the Constitution that are important. And I'm just going to also thank Tim for asking, did anybody catch the license plate of those goalposts as they were moving? I like the joke, Tim. Thank you for the $2. And Katie said, Raven, he also dismissed your service because you're not a man. Thank you for pointing that out, Katie.
No,
that got a little bit lost in the sauce. Thank you for the $5.
I know there's tons of valuable women in the service. I don't believe that. Don't label me as that.
Do you think that there are... Yeah, but you said that she isn't a combat veteran because she's a woman, which is absurd. There are women combat veterans.
No. When we were talking, I said, you asked me, I serviced my country and I serviced in the combat and I had bullets flying over my head. Don't sit there and tell me that I didn't, all that. And then when she came up, I'm like, oh, well, she's not going to have the same kind of outlook I have because she was not in combat. That's all. Don't try to make
but
it something else.
what you specifically said is that she's not a combat vet. You know her not to be a combat.
Which is true. She's not a combat veteran.
That happens to be true. You said you knew it would be true because she's a woman. That was
It's not
wrong
whether
that
it's
you
not.
said.
It's absolutely true.
Our oath.
It's not whether or not. It's absolutely true.
But what you said was fucked up and wrong.
On who? What do you mean? Like, what? That she's not a combat veteran? So the facts are wrong.
What you said is that the reason you know her
to use that to minimize my opinion is wrong.
That's also wrong, but you specifically said that you know her not to be a combat veteran because she's a woman, which is a nonsensical thing to say because there are women who are combat veterans. What are you talking about?
No, not from Desert Storm. Impossible.
Nobody said Raven was in Desert Storm.
I'm from 10-15.
Say that again, Raven.
Her mic's breaking up.
Yeah, Raven, we've got bad service with you, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting like the last half of a word.
There's a user called Army Vet. I'm gonna gamble on letting Raven's service situation work out. But Army Vet, let's see. It's not a brand new account. I can't vouch for this account, but how old are you, Army Vet?
I am 54.
Are you an Army Vet?
I absolutely am.
Care to weigh in?
Well, I served in Afghanistan, so I can speak for that. And I can tell you that we as soldiers are here to protect our country from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Correct.
And right now we have a domestic enemy as a president.
Agree, sir.
Amen. In the most atheistic way.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Raven was just agreeing.
I said amen in the most atheistic way.
I just don't know how you can see this any other way.
So you don't agree with what he did with Iran?
I do not.
Or Venezuela?
I especially don't.
I do not.
Okay, well, unfortunately, you've gone so far left that it's kind of clouding your opinion, but you're allowed your opinion, right? This is America.
Why does it have to be that I'm so far left? Don't you think you're a little too far right?
Well, no, because I actually believe, and there's a reason why we did what we did in Venezuela and Iran.
Hold on. If you don't think you're too far right, how do you feel about the annihilation of entire civilization?
When did that happen?
When
he
Trump
threatened it with the same weapons that I maintained under. Yeah, he threatened it using the same weapons that I maintained under the promise that they would only be used in self-defense.
So he said it, right?
On Truth Social.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And you know what? And I'll be the first one to say he's not politically correct, and he says a lot of shit that he probably should not say out loud.
Why was what he said?
Can I ask you a question?
Specifically, why was what he said not politically correct?
Because you should never annihilate any nation or any race.
And in my eyes, that requires impeachment for even suggesting it.
Oh, sorry. You guys need to learn what actual impeachment laws are. That saying a word or saying words is not grounds for impeachment.
How do you think that helps in negotiations?
Negotiations with who? With Iran?
With Iran.
See, that's where I'm going to have to disagree with you a little bit. Iran is going to do what we want one way or the other, the hard way or the easy way.
So you're willing to use Nazi tactics in order to force others to bend to your will?
It's American force.
Genocide was actually a tactic used by Nazis.
If you want to compare it to Nazis and a Holocaust, that's in your eyes.
I have a specific
It's actually
question
worse,
for Steve.
actually.
It's not. How many civilians have been killed? And over 20,000
If he did what he threatened to do, that would be more deaths
How many
than the
civilians have been
Holocaust.
killed in over 20,000 bombing runs?
I mean, we bombed a whole school. What do you think that does to the civilian population besides
You think that's
re-terrorism?
genocide? 150 people, is that genocide?
Genocide happens in stages, day by day. Gaza didn't get leveled in one day.
This is what I'm talking about, how far left you are, that you don't even know what genocide is. If he
I have a question.
By the way, I still don't.
If he
I'm actually
nuked
willing to say
Iran
that you
and
are
killed-
still
and he
invalid
killed
at this
20
point.
million people, that's genocide.
I'm willing to say that you're still invalid if you can't answer the ASVAB score, by the way.
He can't because a Bravo is a grunt.
Exactly. I'm an artillery.
Well,
Yes.
I would just like to point out that Turd Burglar sent me $2 on YouTube Super Chat to point out that he's not a grunt, he's a dipshit. Well, probably both, but anyway.
I'm not going to insult anybody. These are my opinions.
It's not my opinion, it's Turd Burglar's opinion. Turd Burglar's also a vet, according to him. So I just wanted to point that out. And then Melanie sent me $5 on Venmo just to point out that Trump is horrible to servicemen. Trump disrespects vets is what she said. So I have a very specific question for you, Steve. You said a moment ago that you can't be impeached for words. And what you get impeached for is high crimes and misdemeanors, which is left up to the interpretation of Congress if they go through with an impeachment. Do you think that it's impossible to commit a crime by just saying words?
Impossible? That's a big word. What are you talking about? It depends on the context.
For example, is it possible for me now to commit a crime against you by saying words into this microphone?
What do you mean? Like, if you insulted me, you mean?
No, like if I said that I was going to go to your house and do something bad to you or something like that.
Yes, that would be a crime.
That would be a crime. So it is possible to commit crimes with just words, right?
It's possible, yes.
And what exactly is it that the president is supposed to be impeached for by Congress if they interpret his actions to amount to what?
To a crime?
Yes.
Okay, so what crime would it be?
Well, quite similarly, it's to the example I just gave to you about me saying that I'm going to come do something bad to you. It's a threat. He was threatening to commit a war crime to get what he wants as president. Yeah, I would argue.
Go ahead.
I legitimately believe that to be I think a war crime, which,
I would, yes.
Because the specific line of reasoning here, just to make sure that it's airtight, is that it would, yes or no, would it be a war crime to liquidate Iran in the way he described in that Truth Social, to have an entire civilization die because Trump didn't get the negotiations? That would be a war crime if he did that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Is it a war crime to threaten a person or entity, such as a country, to commit war crimes if you don't get what you want?
Obviously, it's not.
Obviously, it is.
Okay, well, he's still president, buddy. I hate to show it to you.
Okay, now you're running away from the reasoning.
The fact that he's still president doesn't prove that whether or not he committed a crime. It proves that the Republicans are spineless loyalists that aren't upholding the rule of law.
If you have a minute, I'd like to ask a question anytime. Whenever there's time.
No, I'm done with that line of reasoning. You take the floor. He showed he's not a patriot on it. What do you got?
Okay. Here's my question. Donald Trump should not even be president because any vet knows that with one felony, you can't get in the military. How is he the commander-in-chief? With how many felonies?
34.
Okay, can you support that?
Yeah, let's discuss those felonies, okay? First
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You cannot say
Felonies.
let's discuss those felonies. They are felonies. They were
You
convicted in the court
also
of law.
can't say that you uphold the rule of law and then discredit one section of the law just because it was based in one state. That's very hypocritical.
Yes.
Well, no, I wasn't going to say anything about the state. I was going to say that the fact that there were misdemeanors and they turned it into a felony just for his political reasons.
See, that's where you're so far right.
But it's the truth. That's a fact. You can look it up.
But the thing of it is it doesn't matter if you put down the political end of it. Okay, listen to me. If you put down all that, if you or I were in that same situation, we would not be able to get in the military no matter what.
Well, unless there was a draft, but I agree. Yes.
May I ask another question on this line of reasoning? If he had 34 misdemeanor counts of fraud, would that not disqualify him for president for you?
You do realize, get a waiver. You do realize a speeding ticket is a misdemeanor, right?
He could get a waiver.
You do realize that a speeding ticket or jaywalking is a misdemeanor.
I'm saying if the 34 misdemeanors were fraud, would that not raise a red flag for you to maybe not vote for him?
Absolutely.
Do you know exactly what he was convicted of those 34 felonies? He did the same clerical piece of paper 34 times and signed off on it 34 times of the hush money for the I don't know if I can say that word, but for Stormy Daniels.
Yes, but they were each individual felonies.
Right, I understand
because he did it
If
over
I
and over.
stabbed 34 people,
could you agree?
Would you say I only committed murder once?
I don't care if he's only got one felony; he should not be president. And I don't know how you can't agree with that.
Well, because I don't agree it should have been a felony to begin with. It was a misdemeanor, and it made it a felony just for Trump.
Do you
that
think
goes back to my question? Even if it was misdemeanor fraud, why would you elect a fraudster?
Do you know how many presidents in the past have misdemeanors?
Don't you think, sir, that the highest ranking official in the military should set the example?
I mean, you know what? We can agree to disagree.
I'm not going to agree to disagree. I'm asking you a question, yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, end of story.
Okay, but 80 million people still voted him in. What do you got to say about that?
I don't care about 80 million people. We're talking about right now.
Why do you think that 80 million uneducated people quantify as
the country's divided so bad right now, and that's what's bringing our country down.
Steve, I just got to point out that it keeps happening where we keep asking you 2 or 3 questions and you get cornered by the questions and you move on to something else. It originally happened because you weren't going to respect my opinion because I'm not a veteran. So now there's 2 more veterans in the call to get rid of that. And it just happened again where you get asked this question and then the moment the answer... Yeah, but the moment you get asked the follow-up question where you actually need to defend that your position on this is patriotic, you just move on to something else.
He also pivoted from the ASVAB question.
Yeah. I'd like to also thank Hell's Pacifist for another $5 on YouTube Super Chat. They just wanted to bring up again. Excuse me, I'm thanking a donor. They just brought up again. It's a fact that the caller said, I know for sure she hasn't been in combat because she's a woman. I wonder what the caller's favorite flavor of leather is. Man, you know what? Not only was that a good point, I also just realized I can now pull... I got a... Ooh. Sorry, my internet disconnected for a second. I hope I'm still here. But I was actually just thinking, I can now pull back up exactly what the caller said and play it for them in real time. Because there's a YouTube VOD cooking, and that has scrubbing abilities. So I should. I'm having sound issues today. My browser's not playing the audio, so I'll get that sorted out for the next stream.
Hey, I'm gonna step out.
Thanks for hopping up. I appreciate you. I'm gonna give you a follow.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, to the other guy. Hey, I just want to say have a good one, and I appreciate you, brother. No matter what, we're still brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
We can always have disagreements, but they shouldn't be about our president.
Yeah, I know. That's the bad part.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right, later.
W's in the chat for Army Vet.
Well, yeah, we're going to always... Army vets are always going to have respect for each other because we've all spilled blood and done this.
Unfortunately, they're not always going to have respect for the Constitution, as you have thoroughly demonstrated in this call. What a shame.
Well,
you say you always have respect for each other, but you've tried to kneecap my service multiple times since I've been up on this call.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. All you've done since you've gotten on here is try to railroad me into stupid questions, and your whole reason.
This doesn't sound very respecting the veterans.
I mean, well, I'm not even talking about you being a veteran. I'm just talking about you as a person.
And my person is a veteran.
I understand that, but I'm not attacking your being a veteran. I'm attacking the way you're attacking.
You literally attacked my service.
Well,
you did in multiple ways. I also Turd Burglar's bringing all sorts of salient points tonight. He sent me $6.66 on YouTube Super Chat just to ask, ignore the felonies, that PDF is a draft dodger. How do you feel about Trump's draft dodging?
Now he's a PDF.
I do think he's a PDF, but the question was specifically about it.
Be careful.
I am careful. I'm very careful to say that I think he is one instead of asserting that he is one. I assert that he's a rapist because I have him dead to rights on that. I don't on the PDF thing. No, let's not get sidetracked by it. We can talk about that after. I want to give my donor the opportunity to hear your thoughts on what he wanted to hear you talk about. Trump is a draft dodger. His claims that he had bone spurs is spurious, as I like to quip. So how do you feel about that?
Can you prove that was wrong? Can you prove that was a lie?
I think the burden was on him to prove that it was right. And his, I forget which of his personal lawyers it was. It might have been Todd Blanche said that it was spurious. There is a quote from somebody close to Trump who wouldn't normally betray him in that way.
That's part of your TDS. I don't get into those stupid.
Oh, you don't like that I had evidence? It sounds like you're maybe the one with something wrong in the head.
That's not evidence. See, that's your guys' problem. That is not evidence.
I'm going to make a claim here, Steve.
What are you going to learn?
Hey, Steve.
Yes,
be quiet for just 1 sec.
Yes,
I'm gonna put an accusation on you.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say that you reached for
This is all she's done since she got up here. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm being honest about it. Am I not?
I don't know.
I'm putting an accusation on you.
Go ahead.
Are you prepared for this? Can you handle that? I'll take your silence as a yes. So, I'm willing to say that you bust out TDS anytime the cognitive dissonance comes up, therefore proving that you're the one that's not willing to engage with reality.
Is that your professional medical advice?
That's my theory based on all of the studies I've done on those things. Not like studies. I'm not an actual medical professional, but I have spent a lot of time, looking all this stuff up and learning about all this stuff, and I know pretty well what cognitive dissonance is. I used to be a Republican. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, that's why I said. I figured because most veterans were at one point or are.
Right, and then I broke the brainwashing.
Oh, see, I can say the exact same thing about.
Well, here, let's try it again because he wanted proof. I've now done the research in the brief moment I was paying attention to the other side of the screen. It was Michael Cohen, his previous personal lawyer, who said that he wasn't going to Vietnam and made up the diagnosis to get out of it. Also, it has been pointed out by the chat that bone spurs don't go away, and they would show up on Trump's current health records, which are supposed to be public because he's president, and he doesn't have bone spurs. They say he's in perfect health. So, yeah, there is good evidence that Trump intentionally dodged the draft. I will actually say that him dodging the draft by his educational deferment, which is what he did the first 4 or 5 times, I'm actually okay with that. He was going to college. I think that's reasonable. I got restricted for what? Let's see. Your life contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. I don't even know what I said. Me. That one was for me. I don't even know what I said.
Information?
No, harassment and bullying. But
who's your bully?
Like I said, the flag system is not always good. It's just I try to urge guests not to avoid getting flagged by it, but I don't consider it.
You know what it is? Somebody you might have a Trumpy and he reported you for BS reasons.
Well, I think it's more likely that it is just like a mistake that the auto mod system makes because it's not.
That happens a lot.
Let's not get distracted by that. The show's nearing an end. I don't care that I have a restriction. I want to ask you, in light of the information I just shared with you, what do you think about Donald Trump's draft dodging?
Again, you said that that's proof. That's not proof. The first word out of your mouth says he said, right away. That's not proof. That's called hearsay.
What about his bone spurs diagnosis?
Are you a doctor?
Well, the White House doctor is, and they're supposed to.
You talted to the White House doctor? Damn, I didn't know you had a
the White House the White House doctor. Yeah, see, this is you like frantically coping by asking me other questions. But the diagnoses of the president.
It's not proof, buddy.
Well, for example, Trump has chronic venous deficiency, which they could have kept to themselves, but they didn't because they released the result.
Total TDS, bro. For you to know that about
dude, it works, Raven. It works.
For you to know that about another human being, bro. I'm sorry, that is just weird.
I'm gonna argue that you have TDS because
you guys
can't
are sitting
face
there
reality
worried about all his freaking ailments. Really? You don't think that's weird?
Nah, dude, I think you demonstrated what I was trying to demonstrate perfectly. So I'm going to take another moment to thank some donors because it's lighting up over on YouTube Super Chat.
I'm going to step down. I appreciate
you're going to run. Enjoy your TDS.
I'm not going to sit here all day with you.
Runner. Steve's a runner. He's too afraid of me cornering him about his TDS.
I'm not 10 years old. You're not going to goat me into staying. I
was hoping I could ask him another line of questioning to see if he respects my service.
Raven, I respect you as a human being, and that's what matters.
Doubtful.
It's true, but it's.
Can I run a test on that real quick?
I love you, and you guys take care.
Wait, how do you feel about Trump kicking out trans? Oh, he ran.
He ran. I love you, Raven. Thanks for hopping up for that one.
I love you too. All right, I'll talk to you later. Love you, chat. Thank you for all the gifts.
Bye, Raven. W's in the chat for raisin. It's such a funny little speech impediment I have. I say raisins sometimes when I intend to say raven. I don't think it's a mental typo. It feels wrong in my mouth. I have like something about that word, and I get tongue-tied on it. Anyway, W's in the chat for raven, not raisin. But I will take a moment to thank the YouTube super chats that have come in the last couple of minutes. Wouldn't TDS be being so deranged you won't get off this nuts collar? Get off his nuts. I'm not understanding the message. We are being the rational ones. Get off the teat. Drop the Kool-Aid, yo. Yeah, I agree about that collar. He's He's pretty stuck. King of Stance sent $10 to say Trump's 34 counts were upgraded from misdemeanors to felonies because the prosecutors proved he falsified business records with the intent to commit, aid, or conceal another crime. Dipstick from TikTok. Yeah, we talk about the 34 felony counts, and we get it wrong sometimes because I made a big mistake talking about those 34 felony counts yesterday. I mixed up a detail, but corrections in the description if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube. If you think I said something wrong, let me know, and I'll investigate it, and if I got it wrong, I'll put it in the description. Got to do that. Got to maintain that reputation. I hope Project 2025 rescinds all your VA payments. Only then will you care. That's another awesome message from Turd Burglar, who sent another $5 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you, Turd Burglar. I haven't seen that. Maybe somebody changed their username because they wanted me to say Turd Burglar over and over and over again, which I don't mind. I think it's funny. But that's a newer donor, so thank you. W's in the chat for all the donors. Oh, do we end the show? I'm under restriction, am I not? I think we end the show. I think that's what happens next. I might one of these evenings. Today's probably not the best day for it because I'm restricted. I might pick a show where that's still healthy at the end and run long. I kind of want to see what like a 4 or 5 hour show is like. I kind of want to see how I do with that format as an experiment because it'll also push into the evening. So I might do that tomorrow or the next day. I don't think I'm gonna do that today though. Panelist says I'm loved. Thank you very much. I'll put the end roll if you're here all the way at the end of the show. If you made it here, especially if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, if you're digging through old VODs, if you're binging me, oh my God. Thank you for supporting the content by watching. If you want to support me in ways that don't cost anything, you can go to the link tree in my bio, and I should start promoting this. You should go to the link tree in my bio, and you should follow my other TikTok accounts, Oskar Quentin 2 and Oskar Quentin Music, because those are the backup accounts that I'm going to use when this account inevitably gets banned for some bullshit. That's the thing that happens to us debate hosts. I'm not like Dean Withersbig or something. I don't have like a personal contact at TikTok to get my stuff sorted out. So if you want to make sure you can follow the show on TikTok or be able to call in. I'm getting to a point where I'm very worried about what will happen if I get a 3-day ban because I don't think I'll be able to run the show if I don't get callers. It'll just be like the Oscar show, which is fine. We can do that as the Band-Aid when the account inevitably gets banned for something. But if you really want to support the show functioning properly on such occasions, you can go follow the other accounts at the bottom of the link tree to make sure that the backup accounts get more followers because they both have live privileges. I don't think they have guest privileges yet. I need to do some live streams on those accounts. But if you want to directly support the show, you can just go to that link tree and you can send money to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon. Or if there's a payment method that you want me to support, you can let me know. If you're an international viewer, I don't have a PayPal set up right now because the email is private and PayPal doesn't hide the email if you do like a tag thing. So got to get that figured out. Might need to make a professional account. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Today was kind of chaos. Spicy Oscar. You'll get spicy Oscars sometimes. You got him today. Will you get him tomorrow? We'll see how well I sleep. Everybody have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.